Hello, everyone. Welcome to an average episode of Hotline League. It is episode 300, and I am joined once more by my constant co-host after 6 years and 300 episodes. We're just here to do a standard Hotline League episode. Shout out to Alienware, our sponsor. So great to have them on. And yeah, Mark, how was your week?
It's been pretty chill. It's the off season, so there's like not much happening. I kind of just am sitting around playing ARAMs a lot recently, actually.
Yeah,
Chilling.
that's
You know,
that's pretty cool. I went to the TFT event in Vegas,
I got
and
FOMO. I
yeah,
watched that
dude, it
all
was super
weekend.
cool. Other than I got a cold from it, so that was kind of a bummer. But other than that, it's been a nice week. We haven't done one of these episodes in a couple of weeks, so we're gonna have to see if anything has happened in the last couple of weeks. Some
Should we
off-season
pull up the
stuff.
front page of Reddit? Because I feel
Yeah,
that's what we normally do, and we're not sure what we're going to talk about. See,
sure,
like,
sure, yeah.
sort
Let's see
by
if there's
most
anything.
controversial or like most popular on
Yeah.
Reddit. Is there anything going on?
Um, there's a forbidden Senna build that scales with every single stat infinitely. Check it out before it's gone. So there's a
There was a Hui AMA, I think, today. That was probably
yeah,
pretty good. I didn't get a chance to read it, but
yeah. Oh, Anero reaches a verbal agreement with GSDG as a coach for the upcoming NACL season. So that's cool. Congrats to Anero.
good for good for him.
Yeah,
Glad to see he's bounced back.
yeah,
Golden Guardians to DSG. Big promo.
yeah. Exactly. So, yeah. I don't know. I think honestly, I think that's probably the only news that happened, and maybe we shouldn't even bother taking calls.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a down week. Should we just call it? Should we just want to end it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's fine.
Okay. All right. See you guys.
Okay, hello everybody. Just kidding. Let me know how the audio is. I forgot to check the audio beforehand, but this is Mark and I. By the way, that we just ad libbed that whole stupid thing.
None of that was planned.
Yeah, it would have been much better had we planned that, but instead,
No, I think it
we
would have
just
gone worse if we did.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Um, yeah. So let me know how the audio is, because I didn't check it in the pre-show, but it is our 300th episode, and it is 6 years in, and we want to do something really special for our 300th episode. So 6 months ago, Mark started putting in some action. He and I were planning what big ideas could we have for the 300th episode, and Mark had a really good idea. Mark, do you want to tell everybody what your idea is and how we're celebrating the 300th episode? Because people sometimes they bring on special guests or whatever, but we just thought, dude, what if we did this crazy prank for a 300th episode?
Yeah, 6 months ago, I was like, guys, what if I became the LCS commissioner so that on episode 300 we could sync it up perfectly, and it could be my final episode as a co-host. How does that sound? I'm not even on as a co-host this time technically. 299 was my last
Mark
one as a
is
co-host. This is my
the
first as a
co-host
guest
for this episode. I introduced him as a constant co-host, and this is the
No,
last episode. We've done 300 episodes of him being co-host, and this is a co-host episode.
I'm a co-host. Am I pulling the takes?
You can pull the takes if you. What do you want me to pull the takes?
I would prefer if you pulled the takes now that I'm the commissioner.
Wait
of the
until I
LCS.
get the
don't know.
takes, and you see
Just
what
think
takes
about
are
the
getting
optics.
pulled.
Well, I mean, like I'm not going to say anything like crazy when I like started officially like a week ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Like if I pull my own takes, doesn't that look worse than me turning down takes that you pull?
I guess I will pull the takes tonight, but you will have to go do the
optics
audio
of me.
checks. You still have to go do the audio checks because I can't do them because I'm like broadcasting the
Yeah,
show.
I can do that. I can pop down and like pull people and stuff, but I don't think I should be pulling the takes.
Yeah. Somebody says I look so crestfallen. No, I'm just sick. Like I literally. So Mark and I've been trying to get this episode going for weeks. Mark, do you want to reveal when you officially started the timeline there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the day that I officially started was last Monday. So
Yeah.
it was, a little over a week ago, and we shot that announcement video that Monday, and then we had to, edit it, get it approved, because it's a little memeier than I guess the some stuff.
Yeah.
And the team cranked that out, and then it was just about getting approvals and stuff. So Travis was very patient. He knew for a while.
I was very impatient. I was like, my God, we need to do this episode because I keep stalling.
You were great, Travis. You definitely did not.
I just thought, dude, I had so many people coming to me being like, who are you going to get as the new co-host now that Mark got the job? And I was just like, this shit is going to leak any minute. And
dude, it was so funny seeing the DMs get less and less trustworthy with time. Where like initially it was like people who I mostly trust who knew, and then it started being like people who I'm like, I more or less trust them. And it was like, no offense to the sheep people, but yesterday I got followed by LEC Wooloo, and I saw him in my DMs, and I was like, I'm ignoring this shit. Yeah. I'm not checking that one and being left on red. So yeah, it was close to leaking, but we got there.
Yeah. So I am honestly so surprised that in 2023 this didn't leak, and I honestly think it's just because people really respected you and wanted to give you this moment. So at least that's what I'm going to tell myself. So yeah, if you haven't been paying attention, if you just listen to this Hotline League as your audio every week, and you don't go to Reddit, you don't go to Twitter, you don't go to YouTube, boy, are you going to be shocked. But Mark is the new LCS commissioner, and congratulations, Mark. I know how hard Mark has been pushing to try to go for this. It was something we've talked about for a couple months that you had been interested in it, and you feel incredibly passionate about it. So I'm super excited about it. I don't know if there's anything you want to say at the start here. I mean, we could talk back and forth a little bit, but I don't know if you have anything you want to like address people with, because obviously the only thing that's come out so far was your sort of meme announcement video.
Yeah. I mean, I have things to say, but I also feel like those will be the questions. It's like kind of the permanent question we have at the start of the show is like, should I just say what I want to say, or should we look for find a take about how did this happen? Like I saw some questions in Reddit that were like, he's not a business person. Is that a problem?
Yeah.
Those sorts of things. And so I think for this episode, I'm very comfortable talking about the past, how we got here, Hotline League stuff. I can't talk about 2024 plans, obviously, but I can at least talk about this kind of stuff,
Yeah. So I think as I'm looking for takes, folks, here's what I'm going to be looking for. If you have a take, which is like Riot should move LCS to New York,
Chicago,
I will probably not pull that take, because you're going to get on and Mark's going to be like, I just started last week, and cool, glad to hear that, and that will be the end of that. So I do think, one, looking for some stuff that is a little retrospective. This is our 300th episode, so talking a little bit about that. But I think... Yeah.
I should leak some 2024 stuff, shouldn't I, for the hype?
Oh, God.
Shouldn't I leak something?
This is going to be so troll.
We're going to turn the entire... No, you don't know that. We're going to turn the entire stage into a live catching up with Doublelift. We're going to have rats under their feet when they're trying to play, gnawing at the cables. Their keyboards might explode. Lights will fall from the ceiling. Whoever gets first blooded will get slimed. There'll be slime cannons aimed at all the pro players. Cage will be on stage cosplaying as a rat, gnawing at their ankles. And that's what we're going to do. That's the 2024 plan. Leaked. Clip it and ship it.
Yeah. So we will do all of that. Also the other announcement that was in your thing was that LCS is on the weekends now. So
yeah, I can touch on that a little bit. I don't know. I don't think I can announce full schedule or anything, but at least we're back. We're back, baby.
So I think we can touch on that a little bit. You know what's so annoying is I can't see all of the names to put people in the waiting room. I think I'm figuring it out, but YouTube, or for those that don't know, whenever you were streaming, Discord hides a bunch of names.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm figuring it out. So I think we can talk about that. I think there were a lot of questions that I saw. You know what? While I'm pulling takes, why don't you just answer this question? I don't see it yet, and I've seen it elsewhere online. So maybe this is a place where I'll just ask you on behalf of those people. What is a commissioner? Because there's a lot of people who don't follow sports. I saw some people who were even like, hey, English is my second language. I'm not familiar with this word. What does it even mean? So why don't you, while I'm looking at takes, kind of explain to folks like what this even means, and especially in light of the LCS.
Before, I apologize if I cough because I was late to this episode because there was like today the Riot like year stuff is ending this week. Like people are going to go break, so there's like all these kind of like year-end celebration-y type things around campus. And I'm new, so they weren't on my calendar because I literally just got a calendar and like all the invites for these went out before I joined. So I just kept getting like kind of like brought into things, and then there was one that went kind of like started going a little late, and so like at 6:40 I DM'd Travis like I might be late, and then I ran over here, or I ran to my car which was parked. No one knows how the campus is, but let's just say I took an inefficient but the standard path because I wasn't thinking, and I ran the whole way. It's probably about a half-mile run. And I had to get like my validation for my parking and stuff because I haven't set my parking up. So I am also horribly out of shape. So let's just say I felt gassed and like lightheaded when I was like getting up the elevator to start the show. I have a thing of water, but I'm kind of dead.
We're both going to be coughing. We're just going to seem super, super dead.
Yeah. What is a commissioner? So I think there's probably a lot of traditional sports fans who watch, and have an idea. And like, that's a good starting place. And I don't know all the responsibilities of those commissioners. They're usually like forward-facing people who are operating the league. And that seems to be mostly what they do. I think for the LCS, the commissioner role has like shifted over time. It's funny because like, it used to be Nick Allen and Hunter and then Greeley and then Jackie, now me, I think is the lineage of commissioners. I don't know if I've missed any, but I think
Chopper,
it's a role that has.
Chopper was in there as well.
Oh, Chopper was he was before Nick Allen, right?
He was after Hunter, before Greeley.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I was around for that too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But I mean, you were doing the broadcast thing where most of the time I feel like the broadcast personalities are just like not paying attention to what's happening above them or whatever.
Yeah. No, even as someone who has been very interested in the product side for a little bit now, it's been like a bit of a black box, and like I finally have had like the wool pulled like taken over my eyes, and I get to see the truth of the machine. But yeah, so the commissioner role has like adapted and evolved over time. I think my technical title is like product lead, which I think actually does a better job describing what the commissioner does, which is like the LCS as a product. I'm the lead of. But there are a lot of teams which are under like other areas that work on the LCS and are the ones who are like actually operating it. So I don't want to get too into the guts of the business plan and like how everything works. But yeah, like I'm in charge of the LCS, but it's not like I can just like walk over and, like that. It's like, it's very, like everyone is doing things. I say I a lot. I need to stop doing that. I was talking with someone earlier today about like it's so hard for me because I trained myself to say I and not Riot or we because I was an independent third-party content creator, and now I say we and us and our and here at Riot and like these sorts of things, and I keep messing it up, and I feel really bad for everyone who works on the LCS and hears me say I when I should be saying we, and it's like we did that, you did not do that. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get better at that because it's just really like the opposite of how I train myself. So commissioner sits as the product head, but there are a lot of other like divisions and stuff that are the ones actually doing the like operational day-to-day sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah I think that's probably good. I think we might be good. I see people in the chat are doing the normal thing where they're in the chat pinning takes but then not in a voice channel where I can pull them. So like outsane, I see your question. It's probably a good one. You should.
I can spiel. You want me to spiel for you? Since it's
I've already pulled like 5 people. I feel like, I mean, go ahead and explain how the show works, but like just know, folks, that we only have a couple more folks that we can pull.
Okay, we already pulled most of the people, but if you're still new here and this is your first time tuning into Hotline League, this is a live call-in show. We'll be taking your takes. You have to go ahead and join up at the Discord channel, twitch.tv, or wait, no, what is it? ! Discord. I'm too lazy to type it now. Go ahead, join up on the Discord. When you get there, go ahead and join Pleb Calls or Pleb Calls 2 voice channels. Sub calls, if you are a sub, is available. Go ahead and mute your microphone when you're in there. We don't want any mouth breathers. And then in the text channels up above, that's where you'll put your takes. If Travis likes your take, he's the one pulling tonight. He'll go ahead and pull you from the kind of pleb calls room and pull you into the waiting room where you'll hang out until it's your turn to come on. I will still be doing the mic check to make sure that things are working because Travis has the stream, so can't do that. But yeah, that will be how the show works. You need to tell me who I'm pulling whenever I go in there,
Yeah.
If you remember. Otherwise, I can just start pulling random names.
No, you can pull people randomly. I think that's fine because I'm not going to remember what order I put them in. So, yeah. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll do a little bit more sort of talk at the end and everything about how everything is and the show and all that stuff. But I think for now, let's just go ahead and hop into the calls. If you think,
do you know who was first at least?
I think that the problem is I also don't see their names. So,
can you say their name and I can?
Why don't you pick outsane because I just pulled them, but they also have like the spicy. We'll start off with a spicy take.
Oh, we're gonna get spicier at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
Another part of the spiel is please mute, not deafen. If you deafen, I cannot tell you that I'm trying to check your microphone. So outsane. There he goes. All right, I'll be back.
Thank you. By the way, thank you to we've been getting so many subs on this channel on the stream, so thank you, folks. Zamelkai, Cool455, Looter Joe, thank you for gifting 5 subs. Stizzleswick, Spud Tugger, Finance Consultant, A Flying Fox, America Vespucci gifted 50 subs. Thank you. Before the start of the show, Xpix gifted 200. We had a bunch of people drop in just like Fat Stack, so we'll read more as the show goes on. But first, we have
primers in chat.
We have Outsane here. Outsane, where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm calling from Quebec City.
Quebec City. Okay, nice. We already have an international caller to start off the show. What is your take and or question for Mark?
Okay, so of course I'll say this like as a Mark fan, but I want to ask this like as if I was MarkZ the interviewer in the LCS before he got the job. So like I want to ask him, why do you think you're the man for the job? Like you're good in front of the camera and everything, everyone loves you, but why are you the man for the job? You believe, and how do you think you can improve the league? Why should it be you?
Well, like you said there, I'm good in front of the camera, so I just bullshit real hard. I just run my mouth and people just pick it up. No. So I guess this is probably the best call to give like a little bit of the timeline of how we got here because it kind of answers the question. I would say when Jackie was the commissioner, I talked a lot with her just about things, and it's what started making me start thinking a bit more on a product level than like how can I smash a table and get some YouTube views. And so it's actually something I'd been thinking about for a little while. And so when she left, I began initiating conversations with leadership and people at Riot and started kicking around ideas that because we're still at the LCS trying to implement. I don't want to say them yet, but let's just say there are some ideas, as well as just talking about as someone who is close to fans. Like I think I've always had fans as a part of a lot of the content that I do. Blame Game was about responding to Reddit comments. Hotline League is talking with the community, and so I think I'm able to bring a fan perspective while being able to balance a lot of the realities of the league and the esport and that kind of stuff. And so I was able to work on the team side with the players and kind of understand how players and GMs and coaches are going to think about things. I worked obviously at like with the broadcast team, and I know a lot what goes on in the broadcast. I really like learning. And so while I was talent, I do try to learn how things work beyond like my little bubble of like I get mic'd up and I yell into a microphone at the camera. I would oftentimes talk to the producers and try to understand what was going on a little bit in the control room and different graphics packages and blah blah blah. So I think on a day-to-day how the league runs as a like product, I have some understanding of that. And then working with Travis, I don't know, Twitch rivals, different things like that. I've also had third-party content as well. So I have seen a handful of the ecosystem. I think there's a lot of the guts of how the league works, of like the revenue of streams and like all these sorts of things that I will have to pick up and learn. But Carlos is my boss, head of Americas. I think it was head of League of Legends Americas.
You should figure that out probably.
It's not that I don't know what he does. It's that the titles are like, I've met like 5 million people recently. I'm like, whose title is what again? But yeah, he sits above me and he does the Americas, and so a bunch of the Americas leagues have commissioners, and so I'm the NA commissioner, and then we all ladder into Carlos. Yeah,
Carlos is the head of
wrong
esports
language. He's
in Americas, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. Head of LoL Esports Americas. That's the official title. I knew it was League of Legends and I knew it was Americas. I just forgot the specific title. But anyway, so I think by having these conversations, I was talking to leadership about things that the ecosystem can evolve, things that can be done, levers that you can pull to make things interesting for fans and maybe for teams, and try and honestly make some improvements to the LCS. I think a lot of these things are also things that the LCS teams were aligned on and like wanting to work towards. When I say LCS teams, I'm talking like the internal teams that work on the LCS, not like the orgs. It's been hard to separate those two whenever I answer a question. It's like LCS teams are the internal teams, like, comp ops, or comp ops meaning competitive operations. Anyways, point being, a lot of the internal teams are working on a lot of that stuff anyways. So basically, for a while I was waiting for the position to open up, talking to leaders. And so when they officially opened the position, I applied and kind of did the necessary steps to talk to a lot of them. And it was a lot of vision pitching more than it was like immediate background. Like, I've operated a bigger league for COD or MLG or something like that. I think that's something that I do differently, but I think it's something that people wanted, I think, from the position, as someone who is close to the fans and the day-to-day product and know what is going to resonate with people, because that is one of the things that we definitely need to work on for 2024, is making sure it's something that fans are excited to watch.
I think one thing, I don't know why my camera's going blue right now. One thing that Mark didn't mention is that he's done 300 episodes listening to what fans want, and so you all have prepared him for this job because you've told him everything you expect, and so now he has to just go forth and deliver all of that. Yeah, exactly. Toto says you're welcome in chat. That is why.
Could I ask a follow-up question to Mark?
Yeah.
A short one. So, like, of course, I believe you're the man for the job. Like, I think you're grounded to like the fans and everything. But I'm curious, like, how do you feel about it personally, like on an emotional level? Are you like, hell yeah, bring it, like I'm the man for this, like I got this? Or are you like a bit insecure, like a bit scared of like, hey, I'm not used to this? How do you feel personally?
Personally, I'm stoked. I'm nervous in the sense that like the good kind of nerves you get before you do anything that's important and matters. So there's that. And but I really like what I've only been doing it for a week and a half. Technically, I started taking meetings a little bit before I started because I didn't want to wait. And so like for people I could talk to, I was talking to them a little bit, and I've enjoyed it. It's a lot of stuff that I like doing. And as Travis knows, I have a lot of side projects that I would do like whenever I was bored in the off season, and I really like learning new things. And so there's definitely some elements of this that I will learn. And that's what's really nice about working with Carlos, is like, if there's ever anything that I don't already know or immediately like, I need help on, he can help me. There's also, like I said, a lot of teams internally that my favorite meeting I've had so far was one where I basically said fucking nothing at all. And I just sat there and watched a bunch of people problem solve like a budgety, resourcey problem, and just like how quickly they like ripped through that and like checklisted everything, and like engineering, comms, lighting, sounding, looks, like all this stuff. They just like boom, 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 boom. And I got to just sit there and be like, I did nothing. Good job, guys.
Confirmed
like
doing nothing as a commissioner.
Dude, even
what all the Reddit comments have always said.
You know what else? I'll tell you, the weekend thing, we tacked it onto my announcement. There's this guy, Derek, who like basically just like went hamburgers to get it done. Like I don't think I could do it, like with like immediately. So he's been working on it for a long time, and like having to understand how you have to like move schedules around and budgets with like all the shooting equipment and the days that we're on and off and starting at certain times, and how it works with patches and MSI, and like I got to show up at the end, steal his credit, slap it at the end of my video, announcing me and like, hooray, But I think it speaks to the fact that there's like a lot of really, really competent people already working on the product that like any of the things that I need to ladder into are pretty much things that are well in hand, I think. And it's more about the other stuff that we need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Derek is definitely MVP for getting it back. I'm lazy.
Mark doing
Not
his
wrong.
normal thing of arguing with the Twitch chat, even on episode 300.
Sorry. What am I supposed to do? Ignore Twitch chat?
People like it's
what I'm
always
saying.
been an issue because people who listen to the VOD and or podcast afterwards are like, who is Mark arguing with? It's always the Twitch chat. Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things I've been excited for Mark in this role is that I think that at times the LCS has felt very disconnected from what the audience wants. And the weekend stuff, I'm just speaking for myself, like the weekend stuff I think is an example of that, where I wanted to believe that like there was data that supported it and all that stuff, but I think ultimately that decision was pretty clear that was like a disconnect from what the audience wants. And I think other times you've seen that in content, etc. And I'm not trying to shit on the LCS or anything like that, but I am very excited that like Mark just fucking knows, because he's been around forever. And so that's what gets me excited about LCS next year, is that he understands what the audience wants, and I think is going to do a good job of bringing that. So I don't know. I'm obviously very hyped about this. So we will see.
I'm hyped too. I watched your video as I was. Well, I shouldn't say I watched. I put it on and listened to it as I was driving back.
Yeah.
It's been it's been like a weirdly busy day where like I had nothing in the morning, so I just doom scrolled Twitter as it got announced, and then I've been busy the whole rest of the day. So I've like haven't had a chance to check up on things, and just like you get bombarded with Slack messages, Twitter DMs, and Reddit and Twitter comments. So like I haven't really had a chance to just like decompress and watch all of it. But I was trying to watch Travis's video at least on the way over, and he's saying like, now you just get to heckle Mark for anything that goes wrong.
It's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
So, outsane, thanks so much for the call. Anything you want to shout out before we go on to the next caller?
Yeah, thank you guys. Shout out to my boy Sam Baru and my boy Sam Gauthier. And let's go, Mark. I'm rooting for you, baby. Let's make it great.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Thank you.
I see a lot of questions about my pay in Twitch chat. Let's just say nothing pays me more than the warm, fuzzy feeling I get from working with Travis.
True.
And that's it was hard to leave that behind.
True.
Guys,
I just want to say, you should all know that Mark really cares about this job, because the pay cut he is taking from TGI co-host to commissioner is substantial. And I feel
like this is a lose. Wait, go ahead.
It's the only someone who cares so much about the league would be willing to take that type of pay cut, because I don't know. It's my finances.
I feel like this is a lose-lose joke for me, because if I lean into the joke, it sounds like Riot isn't paying me well, and if I don't lean into the joke, then I don't know. I'm like bagging on you for not paying me, or I'm just chasing the bag.
So let's
just not touch the soil.
Here's a story I don't think I've ever told publicly before, but I think Mark knows it, which is, so flashback all the way to 2013, I think. A very good friend of mine who's still a very good friend of mine, but is too busy hanging out with celebrities like Ludwig to spend much time with me. Nick Allen was working at IPL. For those that don't remember, this tournament series that was around for a long time, or not a long time, but a long time ago. And then IGN announced that they were shutting down IPL, and a bunch of people were going to Blizzard. And Nick and I were talking about what he should do. And he's like, I'm thinking about going to Riot, or I might stay independent and do stuff with you. And there was a chance for him to come work with me at GameSpot. And he was like, tell me, he's like, but Travis, if I go to Riot, think about all the changes I can make that we want. Like I will be able to do so much if I go to Riot. And I said to Nick that my favorite Disney movie is Aladdin. And one of my favorite scenes in that movie, spoiler for Aladdin, is when Aladdin tricks Jafar into becoming a genie. He's like, "Oh, you are so powerful, but you're still not the genie. He was what gave you this power. You could take it." And so Jafar wishes that he's a genie. And in that moment, he gets super excited, and then the bracers slap on both of his wrists, and he gets sucked into the lamp. And I liken to Nick that that's what taking that job would be like, because you think you can do so much, but then the bracers come on, you get sucked into the lamp. So anyway, he took the job, and I gifted him a lamp, which he kept on his desk for a long time. So anyway, that's what Mark is experiencing right now, where he is trying to make a great joke about his pay, and he realizes that the Riot bracers are locking his ability to make the joke one way or the other, you know?
No, I think I can make the joke if I want to. It's more of a personal thing.
Anyway, off Mark goes to get the next caller.
You're a shackle. That's why I think I told you I'm free from the Travis Gafford industry shackles.
Go get the next caller. Look at him go. Oh, hi, Vega. Thank you for the 19 months. Kronzi, thank you for the Prime. Froggy Sense, thank you for the Prime. Smoke Dog. Connor. Zemelkai gifted a sub. Redu. Seaman Demon. Sightless Pride. Over on YouTube, by the way, some big ballers balled out. We got Alan Johnson, 10 Aussie dollars. Big Dog, thank you for becoming a member. Daniel, thank you for the 20. And we got our next caller. I'll get to more folks over there in a second, both on Twitch.
What were the Hans? I missed the Hans? What started the Hans?
Huh?
Huh?
I think it was because you were like, I'm free of the Riot shackles, and then I said, Mark, go get the next caller, and then you left to go get, or you said you're free of the Travis shackles, and then you went to go get the caller. Anyway, caller is here. Caller, what's your name and where are you from?
Hi, Travis. My name is fearfactor. I'm calling from Clemson, South Carolina.
Sorry, it's your mic it's a little rough. I just turned you up. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is fearfactor, and I'm calling from Clemson, South Carolina.
Oh, nice. Okay. What do you want to talk about on the show, Fear Factor?
Right. So the gist of my topic is that the chain to weekends for LCS is amazing. All the fans are very happy. But what the fans are expecting is better communication so that the fans can stay and like we can get more fans and the LCS can grow.
So better communication is what the fans are expecting. So it sounds like you're saying like, hey, weekends are great, but if Riot is not better at communicating with its audience, like maybe the LCS is not going to get into a better place.
So just to give a brief, we did touch on it where, Jackie was the previous LCS commissioner and we were all very excited to have her. But at the end of the day, she had to leave and there were a lot of changes in LCS, which all the fans were very unhappy about. And the fans had a lot of questions to which we were not getting like enough answers or like any valid answers. Because we do not know what's happening there and we do not expect Mark to tell us everything, but at the end of the day, give us enough so that the fans are, they are also like smart enough, and we understand when you're trying to not say something to us rather than trying to hide the truth.
Yeah, like trying to hide your salary number, Mark. So talking about transparency and communication, I know this is a little forward-looking, Mark, and I know you're trying to be more kind of a retrospective, but maybe you can speak broadly on your sort of thoughts here.
Yeah, I think, the nice thing about doing Hotline League for 6 years prior to this is a lot of my thoughts, I think, are kind of out there on these sorts of things. I think I've said this before, which is that, like, for any decision that you make or that Riot makes, and now we make, we have to explain it to fans. Even good changes, we should be explaining why we're doing it, I think. And if we make a decision and don't explain it, there's a potential for a double whammy where like maybe you guys don't like it, but then we also don't explain why we did it well enough. And then, now you're upset about two things instead of just one. So I think I can pretty confidently say that we are pretty committed to doing more communication things, and I can't say what they are yet and exactly how all that's going to go. I don't want to get into plans and tactics level things, but it's definitely something that's on the radar and was on the radar again before I joined. Like again, I want to stress like a lot of the things that I will be seen doing publicly or talking about publicly are things that a lot of teams at Riot have already put a focus on and understood that need to be improved or whatever. So comms being one of them is something there. It's like I wish I could just say that people's. I don't know if it's weird to like say someone's name publicly who I'm like working with, but there's a comms person who Travis knows that been talking with
Erica. Her name is Erica. I'll just say
okay. Well,
Erica.
like I don't know if it's weird.
No. I know what you mean. It's weird because like we are public figures, and you're going to be a public figure, but now you're going to have a team, and you want to give these people credit, but also they're not public figures, so saying their name is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Guess what? You get to ask Erica how to handle this in the future, which is going to be really funny.
Hey, Erica, did you not want to get name dropped here? Let me know. I'll see if my phone lights up if she's watching this live, or I'll just talk to her.
Oh, she's definitely watching this live. The amount of Riot names that I looked at when I saw the member list of the chat, it's so funny because they're all just sitting here like, how's he gonna fucking do? Is this guy gonna fuck up in his first 2 weeks?
As soon as I'm gonna get a couple things, we'll see.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who have been working on things like that. So Erica is great, and I think we're pretty aligned on ideas and things that I would mention. She's like, oh yeah, we were already wanting to do stuff like that. So personally, I think, for fans, you should be excited for 2024. We should have really much. I'm an over communicator. Like even in my personal relationship, sometimes Ashley's like, shut up, Mark. You don't need to explain all that. I'm like, sorry. And so I probably can't go as hard as I would on a personal level, but like I do want to make sure that this is something that fans are both hearing a lot from us, but also knowing that we are listening to. So there'll be some stuff.
And I think it would be such a huge strategic mistake if Riot's like, we're hiring Mark, the guy who does all this content, is public facing, does multiple shows every week, and you'll never hear from him again. He's just going to go away. You'll go into the Riot box, and changes will just get announced on lolesports.com with a too long didn't read 4 bullet points, and then that's it. We locked it in, so.
Yeah, no. I like I said in the announcement video, I will be quieter than normal for like the next month or so. Maybe not even a month, like I don't know, 3 weeks, whatever it is. But that probably won't stay that way. I'll still be tweeting like whatever movies I'm watching, but I mean in terms of like some LCS news, like I would normally be making power rankings and stuff. I was missing out on the power ranking fun. So I don't know. Maybe the commissioner shouldn't make power rankings. Who knows?
The other thing too is that folks should know that Riot's closed for the final 2 weeks of December. So that's obviously a huge part of it is that the office will be closed and stuff. So
I am pretty sure I'm so annoying to people because I started a week and a half ago and I'm so juiced to be there, and they're all like ending their year after like the grind of running esports for a year, and I'm just like, what about this? Hey guys, tell me how your entire like thing works? And it's like, dude, just shut up, please. Probably no one has said that, but like I'm sure I'm annoying, and everyone has been very kind.
Pushing
the fact that no one has told me to shut up shows how nice they are. I probably have deserved a couple.
So, hey, Fear Factor, thank you so much for the call. Anything you want to shout out here at the end?
Shout out to you, Travis. I've been watching you for a long time. I just recently moved to the US, so I've been like finally been able to like attend your live call-in shows. Shout out to Mark. Excited for you to become the LCS commish, and also shout out to my 2 friends Nathan and Sanket who have put on hold. So because we are supposed to meet to do an assignment. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah. Shout out to them. Thank you, folks, for letting Fear Factor come on the show. Anyway, thanks. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.
All right. Mark is off to grab the next caller. Thank you to Daniel. Thank you for the $20 over on YouTube. Let's see. Alan Johnson, thank you for the 10 Aussie dollars. Ilya, thank you for the 8 Aussie dollars. I got a lot of Aussies right now. $49.99 from Weird But Fine. Thank you. And Counting My Phrases, thanks for the $50. Hayan, thanks for the 20. Steven for the 10. And Feta Cheese, thanks for $4.20. We got our next caller here. Caller, what's your name and where are you from?
Name's farmerginge, calling from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
farmerginge, welcome back to the show. What do you want to talk about on this episode?
I put like 3 takes in there, Travis. Which one did you?
Yes, this is the
classic.
The classic.
You gotta type in the search bar.
Were you in the subtopics or the pleb topics?
Subtopics.
Okay.
Was it to do with going forward, looking at what Mark wants us to keep in mind?
Yes, I think that's right.
Cool. Awesome.
Bro, I literally said I'm not talking about forward-facing things, and you pull a take. That's what should we keep in mind?
No. He's not
forward?
asking about forward-facing things, Mark.
It's not specific.
Just let him say his thing. Let him say his thing.
Okay.
Cool. So, well, I guess now is a great opportunity to keep this in mind that episode 300, if Mark goes back on these things, he's a hypocrite, as Travis said in his video.
Yes,
But anyway,
very true.
Mark, so there's going to be a ton of criticism going into your new role. Because people like to criticize the LCS and viewership, right? So what do you think, what would you like the viewership to keep in mind while you implement what your vision is of how to improve the league? And I'm not sure number 2 applies, but is there any additional information on projects or ideas in the pipe work that you're excited about?
So that one I know he can't talk about.
Yeah,
exactly. I pulled you. Yeah. I feel like that was your second take, and I pulled you for your first, which was definitely the things viewers should keep in mind.
I think some people are probably like, oh, they're just like hoarding it for some January announcement, which is like a little true, but honestly, some of it is still like we're working out the kinks, and like a lot of teams are still like, even though we are coming up on break week, and I say like, oh, whatever, but like a lot of people are still working a lot on getting these things good to go, because I don't like the worst thing to do would be to say something, have it not work out, and then have my foot in my mouth as like, hello, I'm the commissioner. I instantly fucked up. So that's why I'm being a little cagey about it. It's not like Riot doesn't want me saying these things, but I think it's like would not be smart until we all feel confident about the ideas that they are like 100% happening and stuff. So I'm pretty confident that we can get all of them done. It's just like actually doing it and making sure there's no.
Well, you have a very short window. You have like with the break, you have basically like 4 weeks of time before the LCS starts. So
this is kind of what I was saying, where like a bunch of the teams are already like working on some of this stuff too. So I don't want it to sound like whatever gets announced in January is not like the MarkZ vision. It's like the LCS vision. Like there's a lot of other people who contributed to it and are driving parts of it. So to be clear, and that's not me trying to spread blame around. I'm trying to spread like credit, what's actually happening, but also credit. Yeah. So it's not like what's the MarkZ vision. It's like what's the vision for the LCS that everyone has. And to be fair too, I've talked to some team owners already and stuff like that, and I think in general, like there's always been these like rumors, Travis knows them, about like the team owners and Riot going head to head and butting heads and like being really confrontational. And maybe it's just like, since it's my first couple weeks and there's no actual proposals on the table, that we're not like scrapping it out. But so far, talking with the team owners has been the ones I've managed to find time with already.
It's because Mark has not had to do an owners meeting yet. I've heard the blood runs in owners meetings, not at these nice little, hey, congrats on the job.
Yeah, like it's a very idyllic world I'm living in right now. But while I'm living in it, I'll say team owners are also being very supportive, and also understand that like, we want to change things up, we want to shake things up in the LCS, and they're down too. So like I think it's a surprisingly cooperative environment, because I think everyone knows like the LCS needs to make some innovations and stuff. So I think overall the ecosystem is pretty aligned. It's just about getting there, as well as like making sure we don't index too far one way or the other.
Yeah. Anything else you want? I mean, the caller's question was like things you want viewers to keep in mind as you move into this role. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, I like this take because it's kind of a broad question, right? Because I think fans are going to have a ton of expectations, right? Oh, Mark is in, he can do this. Mark, this is how a commissioner role works. This is how. You've already explained some of it, right? Which is that a lot of the stuff that is going to hit is from the broader team, not just like Mark's vision blowing things up in 30 days or whatever. But anything else that you think fans should know going into the role?
Well, yeah, I don't think fans are wrong to say that like they have expectations, or that things are going to be different and we should do things. I think there's times where like, we've often joked about Travis, where it's like, just do road shows all the time, and it's like those are really expensive, and we've tried to explain that even before I'm the commissioner. So like, now that I am the commissioner, people are going to say those things again, and like my answers might be like pretty similar. I haven't like deep dived into all budget related things quite yet because I'm just working on some other things first. But like, like there's some things which are not tenable. They were never tenable, and like just because I'm the commissioner now, it doesn't mean that they suddenly become tenable because I like fans and want to do what they want to do. Like there's some stuff like that. Yeah, I would say if there's anything, this might sound weird
right now, by the way.
Who is
David
Shinot? Yeah. No, I think what I was going to say was I think if there's anything, it's going to sound weird right now because we haven't announced what changes we're doing, but just have a little bit of patience with whatever changes happen. If there's any like growing pains, I guess I would say. And that sounds really vague right now, and it'll be make a lot more sense in the future. But like, they'll like. Has there been a year without controversy in the LCS? Like I can't think of a year where it was like, oh yeah, that was a pretty good year. Maybe 2018, like right when franchising hit. But even then, some people were not pro franchising. I'm trying to remember if there was like a controversy in 2018.
I think people were annoyed that certain teams did not make it in or stuff like that.
Yeah, like so. I mean, there's always some controversy, and so I'm not saying around those ones. Of course, like your fans say whatever you want, but I think with some of the specific changes when they get announced, I think you'll understand why there might be some growing pains, and then to have a little bit of patience with like the LCS as we like learn, because we will be learning as long with that.
MarkZ 2024, his line is, sometimes you have to burn everything down to build it back up again. Like that's what he wants fans to know.
Absolutely. Yep.
Literally
gonna set the stage on fire.
farmerginge with the rats. farmerginge, thanks so much for the call. Anything you want to shout out here at the end before I go on to a quick sponsor break?
Shout out to MarkZ. It must be a tough role to go from such a viewer-focused role into something where you can get a bit more criticism, and shout out to you for taking that plunge. But yeah, aside from that, excited to see what you're going to do in the future, and shout out to both of you guys for these 300 episodes.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye.
I gotta be honest, I don't think it's going to be that hard. I've watched a lot of Shark Tank. How hard can it be?
Oh God. Okay. Anyway, that's what Mark said in the interview when they hired him.
I wonder if they'll start being like clips taken out of context.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong, someone finds the Shark Tank clip and plays it.
Yeah. Mark, that and the controversy line. The first controversy, people are going to be like, Mark knew this was going to happen because he called it ahead of time. Yeah. All right. So I will talk about my sponsor, no longer a sponsor. Well, still a sponsor of the show, but Hotline League is brought to you by Alienware. Thank you so much to Alienware for sponsoring Hotline League. They've been with us almost all 300 episodes, which is crazy to think about. And you can go over to alienware.com/Travis or use the link in the description over on YouTube to check out their deals. Listen, it's the holidays. You got to get over it, check it out. See, I'm not. You have to check in and put your information to see if or when things will get shipped to you. But there are things that are still shipping. For instance, in my area, I can get this R16 gaming desktop this week. So if you're doing holiday shopping or you're doing some shopping for yourself, maybe you have a year-end bonus, you're trying to make sure that you have a system or some upgraded stuff, monitors, accessories to game on for the holidays. Whenever you're on break, go check out alienware.com/Travis. I've been getting a lot of messages, by the way, from folks who purchase stuff right now since it is the holiday break. I really do appreciate that stuff. You folks giving me order confirmation numbers in some situations. Like, it is so nice whenever you guys share that stuff with me, and I'm not always great at replying, but just so know that it all does go back to Alienware in our year-end stuff that we submit to them. So I do really want to highlight the Alienware Aurora R16 gaming desktop. It's their most advanced and most powerful desktop yet, perfect for new gamers and live streamers alike. Everybody across the board. It's refined and simplified, and it's designed to be more minimal and efficient with improvements in every category. So go check that out. Maybe get an NVIDIA GeForce RTX card in it as you're building out that system on their website. So go check that out. Go check out their M18 notebook. go check out all these wonderful products that Alienware makes as we head into the holidays. So thank you again to Alienware for sponsoring the show. 300 episodes. They've been a great partner. Really love having them around. And thank you to Alienware. All right.
Off to the next caller.
Yes, please do.
Are you sure we don't need any more calls? I got 4 in here.
I'll grab some more in a second.
Right.
Steven Schmidt, thank you for the $10. Oh, I did get you before. Thank you. Over on Twitch, Sightless Pride, thank you for the Prime. Glimmer Glen, 2 years. Slimcat, Warden Winter, Jammin' TST, Stop Dolan, Dumaros, Robert Schmerda, Juju Bean, Slawcat, Zypher, Zypher 634, Swad Father, SLC Soy Boy, Bossman, Pizza Messiah, Moist Charlie 69, Grim Prospect, LOL Failure. We got Avajou here, who, if I recall, has a question or take that Mark will enjoy after the last 3 or 4 callers. Avajou, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ontario, Canada.
Ontario, Canada, another Canadian caller. What do you want to talk about on the show this evening?
So I had 2 takes. I'm not sure which one you wanted.
You had one that was a little bit more retrospective.
Yeah, okay. Let me just find it specifically.
Sure. I appreciate you have to find your take. I thought I would have to do it, but do you want
So Mark, looking back on your time on Hotline League, what were some of the moments that you found most memorable or you look most fondly on? That was my take. Because I've been listening for a couple of years, and I was just wondering, looking at a retrospective, what were some of your favorite moments? What were some big surprises? Like, was it going first time in person doing Hotline League, which I think was in 2018, if I recall correctly?
Oh, shit. I wasn't even thinking about the live ones. Those were all pretty bangers, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
2018 was the first one. We did it in Miami.
That one is that was a great memory because it was like the vibe was just right. Like I think we've done technically better shows and I don't think there was anything on like that level, but if you were there, it just like felt really cool to be like on the waterfront. I think we had like an open bar and like everyone was just having a good
We
time.
had a minimum requirement we had to hit.
We had a minimum requirement.
Encouraging people who could legally drink to go purchase stuff because otherwise we were going to have to pay money back because we didn't have a sponsor for that episode, if you recall. And so we just like brute forced it
big time.
Yeah.
That was just a fun one. And it was just like a community feel because a lot of the casters came out to it. And, that was a sick one. The $100,000 bet that I don't know if it was ever real or not between Reggie and Steve that they apparently did on a live Hotline League.
10,000, right?
I thought they said 100, dude. Maybe I'm trolling. But either way, I don't know how real that was.
Well, it wasn't because the commissioner at the time killed it afterwards. I think Greeley had to tell them, like, hey, shut the fuck up. You guys can't be betting on games, you idiots.
It's going to be a different era. No. I still don't think they're allowed to bet on their own games.
No,
that seems like
not.
something that is not a smart decision. But yeah, I think there's like a lot of those kind of live ones, which are sweet. I think a lot of my favorite memories are like either when a caller comes in and just like has a really sick point and they have like all the things already accounted for. So when Travis and I start saying stuff, they're just like, no, but then you do this. And we're like, oh shit, that is really smart. I think those ones are really cool. And we have definitely like just stolen straight up some ideas from fans. We always talk about the import rule one, which like now that I'm commissioner, I don't know, like I don't want to touch that. We'll see. But, I don't want to start talking about the import rule, but like I just think that there's like a lot of cool ideas that come from the community.
Classic commissioner, by the way. I don't want to talk about the import rule. That is the fucking line right there. He's already learned.
You know what, Travis? We're gonna actually remove the import rule. There you go. There's your nugget.
Well, I fucking
Steve and
you're worse. No. That's a joke. That's a joke. Don't take it too far. Again, no clipping ships, please. But yeah, I think there's just like a lot of cool stuff that the community has said over time. And sometimes it's like content things, and then we do that content thing. Like there's just a lot of times we've stolen ideas from Hotline League callers. And then the third one is whenever we get like an international caller. I think we've gotten like a lot of Europeans, which is cool. But then we've gotten, I think, people from like India, like Mahmood was in Iraq. Was he in Baghdad?
Yeah.
Or yeah. Like, I don't know. We just got a lot of like crazy calls. Like Mahmood was a goat. He's a legend. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, go ahead.
what were some ideas that you took from Hotline League and then just implemented into the LCS or maybe into the show? I was just curious.
Oh God, it's so hard because like honestly, I think we've done like a lot of them. Like I'm trying to think of a.
I don't know if they necessarily got implemented, but there's a lot of times where somebody brings up an idea and then Mark and I start sort of positioning it as like a good idea across the scene. Like the import rule take that somebody had is obviously something that I have championed before, but there's been other ones that are maybe format related or stuff like that. It is tough because it's 6 years and it's like what was said on an episode that then we championed and now it's like not relevant 5 years later because they've completely changed the system or something. But
yeah, and I think there's things that like we like fans have said we've agreed with and Riot has changed, and it's not like like Travis Knight did it. You know, like the format things or whatever are like we're not under like it wasn't like we had that much influence on them. So like it's a lot of content things because I could take something that someone said in Hotline League and like instantly the next day or two, like when I'm in a meeting with my producers, be like, "Hey, this thing is sick. Let's do that." And then we would just go do that. You know, like a lot of things like that, and some of it wasn't always necessarily like a specific idea. Sometimes it's just feedback. You know, like people will just say, "Oh, I had this problem watching the broadcast this week," and we're like, "Oh, okay, well, it's good to know." And then I can just take that and go somewhere with it. So like it's a lot of those sorts of things. I think just being able to talk directly to the community for that you just like lose perspective on sometimes. And same with like the whole like worldwide like, oh shit, there's just like some guy in halfway around the world watching us right now. That's crazy.
Yeah. I do like all the times where we've had community members randomly call in, like personalities or team owners or something, you know, where we're talking about something on the show with a caller and then a team owner shows up in the chat, or I don't know, somebody who wants to come on and like talk about something. I think that has always been really cool for me. I remember just so many instances where we were doing these live shows and I would meet somebody who would say like, "Hey, I love Hotline League because I drive a truck for a living, or I have these deliveries I have to do all the time or something like that, and I listen to your show every week and it's like something I look forward to on a weekly basis." Or Mark and I get somebody into Brandon Sanderson novels. I have had so many people come up and said like, "Oh, because of you and Mark, I started reading Brandon Sanderson. I'm halfway through Way of Kings or something." And that is always super cool. Whenever like, not even the League of Legends stuff, but just in general, people enjoy the show because they enjoy Mark and I, or they enjoy, you know, just something that we're passionate about, even if it's not even directly related to the LCS. So those have been some really cool moments for me. And I think,
you know what?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, mine's a tangent.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think also just the fact that Mark and I were able to create something unique in a very crowded space. I mean, there's a lot of really great shows out there, and there's been a lot of shows off and on. Riot creates some, other third party create them, community members create them, teams have made them, and the fact that this show has always been, you know, for better or worse, very unhinged at times. You know, the amount of times where I saw people on Reddit just be like, "I can't listen to Hotline League. Those callers are so stupid." And then Mark and Travis have to like figure it out because they'll just have the worst take ever. You know, like that's funny, but also like it's unique. It's so unique in the space. And so I'm really, really happy with the fact that we were able to do this. And I mean, it's obviously stood the test of time with 6 years and 300 episodes. So yeah.
The only thing I'd say to tack on here is not just reminiscing about the highs, but the lows. And you know what, Travis? I have one regret, and it's that we didn't do another Hotline Love or a Hotline Life.
We can do one. Whenever
you
you want to do one, Mark, we can do it.
Don't give me that
I am
shit
down.
now.
If you want Hotline Life or Hotline Love,
God.
I am down. Mark, the moment Mark wants to do it, I am completely open. So
I begged for years to do another Hotline. We got someone married. I begged to do another Hotline Love or Hotline Life, and you said no.
I have come to see the light,
do it,
and I am super down. You know what?
Now that I'm the one who has to say no,
after 300 episodes, I think we should do another. Mark, do you want to do another? We can do one next week. I'm open.
Let me check with what people are okay with. Maybe we'll do a hotline live. No, who knows? Maybe.
Yeah.
It's off next week.
There's no way
I don't think
that
so. No,
Mark
no.
is going to.
I wish I could, but what I want to do is call your bet, so then you have to do it too. Like,
Yeah. I would, but I'd also be calling your bet. We would both be going into this. And by the way, who do you think has more to lose?
Game of chicken. Just like, who's got more to lose?
Yeah, who's
Me,
got more to
probably.
lose? I'm pretty sure it's you now, buddy.
Yeah.
I saw that pay range, that salary range for that job. All right. Anyway, thank you, Avajou. Anything that you want to? I love that this is a meme now. The salary range. Avajou, anything you want to shout out or say here at the end?
Yeah, first I wanted to shout out Mark. Back in 2018 when I started watching the LCS, I remember it was this Huni playing Lucian against Gangplank top, and then it was really entertaining, and then I was watching the post game. Mark was talking about it. I'm like, hey, this guy's pretty funny. I just started watching the LCS. Let's see what else he's into. So then I started watching Hotline League, and then that got me into watching like Resident Refresh and all the other content you did, and like watching your book channel, which got me into reading more books. So I just want to shout out Mark. Did a great job improving my life. Hopefully he can improve the LCS the same way. If he doesn't, I'll come at him with pitchforks and some fire. Make sure that he changes it for the better.
So I'm talking
congrats,
about,
man.
Hold MarkZ accountable. # hold MarkZ accountable.
Yeah, the moment I see the viewership dip, I'm coming for you, Mark.
Dude, 100%. I'm right there with you. Yeah,
you guys know that the viewership always goes down a little bit week over week in the regular season, right? Like, please don't kill me.
Oh, look at
your
already making
excuses already.
Yeah. Mark, it did under previous commissioners, but you gave a big speech at the beginning of why you felt like you deserved the job. So, I am sad that
I appreciate that.
I am sad that we won't be able to do sort of the extra third party or like the non LCS content that we did. Because you had mentioned at one point in time we should do like a Baldur's Gate video, and I would have actually been super down now that I've beat it. And we won't be able to maybe I'll beg Erica to let you do a video whenever the 5th Stormlight archive book comes out next year with you and I to continue the series, because we've done a video for all the Stormlight episodes, so we'll see. Anyway.
Yeah. I appreciate the kind words though, man, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think the funniest comment I read was the one that was like, "Oh my god, we have a gotcha play. We have a Genshin Impact player as a commissioner."
Yes.
Get ready for the gotcha.
In that Reddit thread.
TFT gambling.
So good. All right, thanks so much, Avajou. Catch you next time.
All right, have a good day.
See you.
Mark is a good option for LCS commissioner because he was free to play in Genshin, so he knows how to manage a budget. He
that was actually on my resume. Was like I was able to get these 5 stars without putting money in.
Yeah, exactly.
My Primo Gem collection. Yeah.
All right, off he goes. Thank you to Sethipu Akshan for 70 months. Oh my gosh, 70 months. Thank you. Director Donut for 30 months. Moonfish for 3 years. Soundwave Surfer, Gangsta Kartik, Kanoke, Turtle Empire, Game or Girlfriend or GF, Pangstrom, iNuber, Ian7J2, Killer of Heroes, Fox with Socks, My PS, Shonatonin, Alex Throws Games. Thank you, Urbany. All right. We've got our next caller here. It's Andrew. Andrew, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Andrew, and I'm calling from Madison, Wisconsin.
What do you want to talk about on the show?
My take is, since we're talking about pitchforks, is can TGI be unbiased when talking about MarkZ now?
Yeah. So I pulled this take for folks that are curious. Can Travis be unbiased? The answer is no. But the answer has always been no, because I think that anybody who suggests that people can be unbiased in the esports space, for somebody who's been around for like 10 or 12 years, like it is impossible. You just know people, you have inherent biases to who you are, to who your friends are, etc. And so what you have to do in these situations is try your best to set aside those biases, right? And that is what I think I will be able to do with with the LCS. I think that with Mark, I do believe him as a person, and there have been leaders at Riot who I have not believed in as much, and ones that I have really believed in. I really liked Jackie when she was doing the commissioner stuff, and I thought she had a pretty good vision, and I thought she did a lot of good things. That probably influenced my takes on Hotline League, where I was like, oh yeah, I'm down. If I have more faith in this person, I'm going to be more likely to hear them out because I feel like they have demonstrated some level of competency. So I don't think that there's ever going to be a time where I will be able to be completely unbiased on this stuff, but I would also just say, like, the amount of times where Mark and I have, like, argued on this show, sometimes in a heated manner, about usually very stupid things, I think should demonstrate to folks how likely it is that, like, I'm willing to disagree with him on something publicly. And I have, on our walks, I have already said, Mark, you better fucking fix this problem that I feel about the LCS, or I'm going to be flaming your ass on Hotline League and in videos constantly. So I think that is why I'm not as worried about him stepping into this role and what it's going to do. I think the other thing is, like, to be completely honest, the times in which it has been very hard for me to share my true opinion on something is when I felt like the stakes were really high, right? Like, back in the early days of my career, when I hadn't established myself as much, I was a younger person, more immature. I was really worried about, like, hey, could I just get, like, banned from something, or will I just never get an interview again if I say this because, this person won't like me or whatever. I think as time has gone on, and I have grown, I have learned more about how to manage those relationships. And, like, the best thing about this is that I don't, like, Mark is not going to fucking have some sort of retribution against me if I disagree with what he has done.
You're already blacklisted, sir.
Yeah, exactly. I've already done so, like, it's already done. But, like, it will in some sense be easier for me to say things that I disagree with Mark, because, like, at the end of the day, he will respect the fact that I have this differing opinion and usually know about it long before I voice it on Hotline League or something. So I'm not too worried about it on that front, like, from a coverage perspective. But yeah, I mean, like, again, this space started as, Mark sleeping in a closet for Team Curse. Like, we've all started as, like, this little community thing and grown from there. And maybe folks should listen to the outside personalities that come in fresh and want to cover the space and have no relationships with folks here and no history, in addition to me, because I think you probably want to spread out sort of who you listen to and what takes you take in and all that stuff. So I don't know, Andrew, if you had, like, a follow-up on that, but that's kind of my long-winded
I think
take.
that sentiment is fair, and I agree with it, but I also think we needed to talk about the elephant in the room. And I know that all the feedback that you would give Mark is in good faith, which is the most important part of giving feedback. So,
yeah, I mean,
it's
I
not
think,
like we haven't roasted somebody that's actively in chat,
Well, I think the nice thing is Mark and I both care deeply about the LCS. That's why we've done 300 episodes. That's why Mark has worked really hard to convince, as skeptical as the community is. I won't speak for Mark, but I will say that, like, as skeptical as the community is of Mark's qualifications,
Dude, I watched so much Shark Tank.
If you're excuse me, sorry, Mark, making me laugh. If you're an executive at Riot, maybe your first thought on commissioner is not, oh, that guy who makes the videos where he's, like, in his pajamas and his hair is messed up and often disagrees with us publicly, And so if Mark was able to convince them, I think that I think the fact that he and I just both cared so deeply about the LCS, it will make it easier, because even when we disagree, we both know it. I think there are other voices in the space who are rooting against the LCS and who want to see it fail, and I think that's the bigger the bigger challenge, I think, for some of us is like sort of countering those voices.
Authenticity isn't learnable. Everything else is.
Yeah.
Quickly, Azael said, "Hey, looking forward to your first official ruling as commissioner banning Travis from the LCS studio. Bad news, actually, Azael. Travis is your new co-host on the Dive. Forgot to tell you and CC you on that email. But
we're merging Hotline League and the Dive. Yeah. Hotline Dive.
Actually, we're just deleting the Dive, and you're actually Azael is the new co-host for Travis on Hotline League.
True. He says, "Guess I'm going to LEC." All right, we already have people leaving the LCS because of decisions Mark is making.
Good. I didn't need him anyways.
No, he must have. That's what happened. He heard about this, and that's why he was doing TFT this weekend. Is he's already hedging his bets. He's like, Mark is the commissioner. All right, I gotta find some other work.
Yeah, what else is
Magic
going on?
Already taken.
Yeah.
He's going back to WoW or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. The Dive producers and the chat learning this news and is very disappointed to hear it as well. Mark already making enemies left and right internally. Andrew, thanks so much for the call. Anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, shout out, Mark. Congratulations, my friend. You'll be missed every week, but congrats, man.
Yeah.
That's all.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for the call. We'll catch you next time. I will. I'm looking for some more takes, by the way, folks. So feel free in the subtopics chat or pleb topics chat if you just got here. We're kind of like retrospective on 300 episodes. Answering the very lightly stuff that Mark can talk about. He's only 7 days into the job, so he can't be like talking about what the
I've mastered
like
everything. Surely.
Feel free to. Can we have some more folks on really talking about some cool stuff? All right. I am moving some folks into the chat right now, or the waiting room. Looking in the subtopics and pleb topics chat. So thank you, by the way, to Kapalulu, Meekout, Mexican Armada, Alex Throws Games, Shauna Tonin, Simon Please. Thank you all for your support. And over on YouTube, everybody's been silent for an hour, so you get nothing. All right. Caller, what's your name and where are you from?
So my name is DoubleG, and I'm from Houston, Texas.
What do you want to talk about on the show?
So I saw a bit of conversation around this, around MarkZ being a bit of an untraditional pick for LCS commissioner, and I actually kind of want to push back on that. I think that MarkZ, being someone that's been around the LCS for over 10 years, is a great pick. I think that he's seen the LCS. I mean, I know he said this in his announcement video, but he's seen it a lot from different angles. He's been inside Riot, outside Riot. He's very in touch with the community. More importantly than all of that, he's actually been able to see everything that the LCS has tried over the years, with what's worked, what hasn't, all the different formats. I mean, we had best of threes, we had spring and summer counting collectively, all the different championship points, importing changes, the player strike, franchising. MarkZ's been throughout all of that, and Travis, like you, I had a lot of faith in Jackie. I wish she had been able to stay around longer, but I just think that someone that's been around for 10 years is going to have a lot of insight into all of that, and hopefully, I mean, we'll see, but hopefully not make the same mistakes and avoid some of those failures that have cropped up. And then lastly, I do really just want to say that I feel like MarkZ has always been in touch with the community. He's obviously been hosting this show for 6 years now, and this is one of the only shows that actually interacts directly with the community, so props to that. But you're very clearly reading Reddit, reading Twitter, seeing what fans have to say in studio. So I just think that someone that isn't coming from an outside perspective, I think that MarkZ is very clearly almost a perfect pick, in my opinion, just because he's seen everything. I think he has great takes on where the LCS is at and where it needs to go, and what needs to be improved going forward. So That's my take there.
Travis, why didn't we start with the glaze call? Could have been glazed up an hour ago.
Because you said you wanted me to choose the callers, and I love the idea of keeping you on your feet.
Fine. What do I say to this? I disagree.
I do.
Big mistake. Big mistake.
No, I mean, why don't you, like, we've talked a little bit about your qualifications already, but anything that you, this is why we didn't take this call.
Well, okay, so you know what?
You
Fine. Here's something I'll say is, like, I think the MarkZ public persona is, like, it's pretty authentic, but, like, there's still parts of me that I don't think I, like, am going to always represent. I'm not the catching up with double if guy. Like, that's a kind of content I like, but it doesn't, like, encapsulate me. So I think, there's a lot of things that, like, I would say, I think there's a lot of things that I can hopefully bring to this role beyond just, like, a content idea or something. What that ends up being, we'll see in the future. But like I said, also, there's a lot of teams at Riot who also have a lot of great ideas and stuff. And I think part of it will just be, like, listening to them and seeing what we can actually do and helping get that done and trusting other people's expertise as well. So yeah, I think some of the things that, like, I would say, here's something I'll say that I don't think should be too controversial is I'm actually a decent communicator in meetings and able to listen to people and get alignment a little bit. Hopefully, we'll see. Maybe that'll blow up in my face. I'll be terrible at it. But I've worked in two pretty difficult positions, which are scale differences, obviously, from the LCS. But I swear to God, getting your pro players all to want to do the same thing is a nightmare. I was in a meeting and people had different opinions and we were talking about them, and it is what it is. But, like, no one tried to int me in the meeting. Like, at no point did someone slam pick a champion no one wanted and ran it down for 5 minutes and blew up my scrim set. And now I have to go pull this, like, player aside and, like, hear him vent to me and stuff, like, like, it's I've been in situations like that. And so when you're talking with people and trying to hear out their side and listen and learn where the pain points are and what you got to, try to mitigate, what sorts of things you have to live with, and hear all sides and try and find the best path forward. Like, that is oftentimes what a lot of my non-content creating jobs were. And even offline TV it was a tricky situation. There's, like, a lot of big personalities in that room. Like, they have different ideas on what they want to do too. And obviously the kinds of conversations you're having are different, but the skill set of being able to listen to people and try and get them on your side and that kind of stuff, I think, is a lot of, a portion of what this job is. So that is something that I think, based off, like, me being an idiot in content or, like, going over formats or, like, the blame game and breaking down stuff is, like, a skill set that I don't think people would know that I think I am okay at. If I can toot my own horn a little bit, I think, like, I am pretty good at navigating those kinds of complex situations and having to hear a bunch of different sides and convince people of what's the right path forward.
Caller,
professional babysitter. No.
Thank you so much for the call. Anything you want to shout out here at the end?
Yeah, I do want to shout out MarkZ Blame Game from 2017 when he was a big advocate for Jensen getting MVP in that summer split over Bjerg, and it's one of my favorite videos that you ever produced. It's actually what made me one of your biggest fans, so just shout out to that. And lastly, I do hope that you keep up your media takes and opinions on Twitter, if not on this show, since we won't be seeing you so often. So I always enjoy hearing about what you're watching and your takes on that. So, yeah, good luck, Mark, and I wish you the best.
I appreciate it. I don't mind tweeting them, but I like being able to rant about media more. I don't know. We'll have to find a way, an outlet.
Yeah, here's hoping.
LCS commissioner says this game sucks. Thanks so much, caller.
Have a good one.
Starfield bad. Any truers?
All right.
No.
You want to go grab the next caller?
Yep.
Thank you to Decimaya. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I did see Praeco in the chat. I don't know if you're still here, Praeco, but if you do want to call it, I would love to have you on. I don't know how many people know who you are, but I know who you are, and I would love to have you call in. You just need to join the Discord and flag me in one of the subtopics or pleb topics channel. Yeah, join discord.gg/Travis. Here's the link. I assume you are the praeco that I think you are. All right. Thank you, or hello, caller. What is your name and where are you from?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Cody, and I'm from Vermont.
Cody from Vermont. What do you want to talk about on the show?
All right, so I
Caller?
just want to say, like,
Oh, there we
I'm
go.
a fan of MarkZ, and like, I'm excited, and like him taking on the role, but unfortunately, I think it's actually going to be a loss at first because, well, the broadcast personalities, excuse me, the broadcast personalities are going to have to learn to fill the hole that Mark's personality is going to leave.
And so you're just saying like, hey, getting Mark as the commissioner is good, but also the LCS is going to suffer his absence.
Yeah, like, and I was a really big fan of Jat, but once he left to the analyst team, it was like the broadcast stumbled a little bit, right? Like he was gone, and there wasn't somebody that could like do what he was doing. And granted, that's a cool thing about being a personality is you're unique, but I don't know, some of the like people they tried to fit in that spot was a little bit of a struggle.
So yeah, Mark, you're the commissioner? You now have to replace a pretty mediocre talent on the broadcast, but still one of the mediocre talents that did a decent amount. So
I was trying to debate how I should meme this one. Should I say that like of course they're doomed without me, or should I go the other way and say addition by subtraction and like actually the broadcast is about to get way
How about
better.
a real fucking answer, Mark, and let us know how you're thinking about this, because I'm sure you have.
Well,
I mean, sorry, go ahead, caller.
Well, like there's also the pivot that the broadcast had to make when like they got rid of Dash, right? And they made that comment about maybe we'll have a rotating host, or maybe we won't have a host at all. And that's to say, like, you made a lot of the new content pieces, or were at least like a face for a handful of the new content pieces. And a lot of the sentiment from the fans was that like we like those content pieces. So maybe people are worried about, oh, we won't have catching up to with double lift, or what's going to take its place, and what kind of tone is broadcast going to take without you on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately this is one of those I can't answer this because the reason that I wouldn't worry and I would tell you not to worry is also like one of the plans that we're still exploring. So I don't think you'll have to worry, but I also can't tell you why. Just trust me, bro. Just trust me. That's kind of where we're at right now.
But I think it is well, here I have another caller that's going to get into the sort of question of what you're going to be doing from a broadcast perspective. But I guess it is a fair question mark of like, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess the other thing I can say about just like there'll be a hole or whatever, that part I'm not worried about because I have a lot of confidence in like Raz, Jat, and Emily to be fine. Like, yeah, I kick around a lot of ideas, but honestly, I probably take up a lot of fucking volume in the room too. Like, I'm not quiet. So, yeah, I won't be pitching my ideas, but that doesn't mean there's going to be no ideas and there won't be good ideas or whatever. So I'm not worried. I think they have plenty. Plus the producers also pitch plenty of ideas. And it's a lot of people who love League, love the LCS, and I think they'll be doing just fine without me. I'm really not worried about it. Even regardless of whatever changes I'm teasing or what's coming in 2024, even if nothing changed, I would still be pretty confident in them to have a great broadcast. And I think like they have tons of plans of their own that have nothing to do with me. Like I had no input on like which pros we got on, who did what. Like Sven came on and did a bunch of amazing shit, and like that wasn't me. And Spica came on and did some great stuff, and like I had no say in that stuff, So like I think there's plenty of like dubs that the broadcast collected that they'll just keep doing without like I don't need to be there for that. So I'm not too worried about it.
No, that's very true, and like. I've been a fan of Emily and Raz for a long time. Raz, shout out to that. But I guess my point actually, or what I'm starting to understand is that like in the context of wishing that I've heard more Emily maybe and her style of the broadcast. Your style of really came out, especially with catching.
We're losing you a little bit, caller, but sounds like you're saying you appreciate Mark's style.
Yeah, but the thing is though, yeah, never mind. It's all right.
No, you're good. You're good. I think we will hop off the call just because I think your connection issues are happening. But is there anything you want to shout out to anybody here at the end of the call?
Shout out Alienware. Always happy with more people supporting the esports space. Wish there were more.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much for the call, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, take care.
See ya. All right. Thank you to Oh My God Joseph Joestar for the 31 months. Really appreciate it. What, Mark? Oh, off he goes. He's laughing about something. What else? Looks like we have a couple more callers to go. We will see how things happen as time unfolds. One and only Corbin, thank you for the 100 bits. Hello, Element. I see you in the chat. We are winding down here. All right, Evie Fighting is here. Evie, where are you calling from?
I am calling from Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. What do you want to talk about on the show?
I was just going to ask Mark, at the beginning of every show, talks about his media updates right now, all that. Just wondering how we're going to get that information. Is he still going to be active in the book channel time to time? I like to scroll that.
Boy, I'm pretty horrible at Discord. I think of all the things I use to talk to people, Discord's probably the least consistent thing for me. Like Twitter DMs, I'm pretty good, though I'm awful today because it's just like a C in there. Slack, I'm pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Travis, we'll do. You can interview me, and instead of talking about anything related to the LCS, we'll just talk about books.
I mean, I'm super down. I think one thing is I am hoping that you'll be on Hotline League in the future. At least I've talked to Riot folks about it, and so I think we'll get you there. I thought, Evie, when I read your take, that you were going to ask Mark what his media update is here, so we can give him one last chance to tell everybody what he's been watching and what he's been playing.
That is true. He did skip that today, and that was a massive L. You guys were distracted with some random news.
Sure.
That's less important.
Oh God, I don't know what I've done. I downloaded and installed both Spider-Man and Alan Wake and didn't play either of them. I'll probably play Alan Wake at some point.
Why? Because Game Awards promoted it a lot? Yeah, I was surprised how much it won.
I listened to the podcast, the Friends Per Second podcast, so they all said good things about Alan Wake, so I was like, fine, I'll try Alan Wake. It sounds cool. I like kind of artsy stuff. And then I just never got around to playing it because I'm not much of a console gamer. And I've just been slamming ARAMs. I've been super boring. I've been slamming ARAMs. I don't think I'm watching like any hype show that I would like push on other people. And movies have slowed down after Halloween. I think like I watch whatever that movie. Like I watch so many things. I also just forget what I've watched. Like I watched that like Leave the World Behind thing that just came out on Netflix. That wasn't that good. It was like really good until it wasn't that good in the last 10 seconds. You know, it's one of those kind of like, I'll just tell you, it's not quite a spoiler, but it's a spoiler. Travis, you gonna have a conniption?
Wait, for what? For the documentary?
It's not a documentary.
What were you talking about? A spoiler for what?
Leave the World Behind.
Oh, I thought you said that a documentary on Netflix called that.
Did I say documentary? I lied. It's not a documentary.
Okay. I don't want no major spoilers. Small spoilers are okay.
So I can't. I'm not spoiling the plot. I'm just saying that like it's really unsatisfying.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll just say that it's like one of those movies, like a J.J. Abrams thing, where like the mystery is the whole reason you're watching, and then it's just like meh. Gotcha. I'm not going to answer that, and you're like, okay, well, I didn't enjoy this now.
Very good. Thanks so much, Evie, for the call. Anything you want to shout out before we go on to the next caller?
I just want to shout out, congratulate Mark. Congratulations that you can afford some fancy milk from an oat now. Enjoy your new
Vanilla unsweetened oat milk is goated. It's healthy, tastes good.
Thanks for the call. I'll catch you next time.
I know nothing about how much water it takes to make. Might be horrible for the environment. Who can say?
Thank
Also,
you.
shout up Skill Up Indeed. Twitch chat. He's goated.
Thank you to Guest Monster and Apple Thief for the subs. I appreciate it.
You know what we gotta watch? I gotta watch Godzilla -1. Everyone says that shit's great. Charlie,
really
Moist
good.
Critical.
Why don't you go grab Praeco next?
Oh shit, that's right. I have a job to do.
Yeah.
That I'm not paid for anymore.
Thank you to Guest Monster and Apple Thief for the subs. Yeah, I have to pay out Mark. He owes me an invoice. I have to pay him before the end of the year. All right. Hello, Praeco. Welcome to the show. Where are you calling from?
Hello, friends. I'm calling from the wonderful Los Angeles.
I'm glad to hear your accent because I thought for a second you might be an imposter. What is your take, or do you have a question or take?
I guess more of a question. I was listening to, you guys talking about just the history of esports, and for so many years, I feel like the whole esports industry has worked so much to be taken seriously, to be taken seriously as, a sport, a competition. I think just always the gaming generation has fought with this, stigma of the basement boys. But I think we've reached a point at which, obviously the world has really noticed what's going on and takes it seriously. And honestly, it's similar, when I work on our story stuff on League, it's like you always have this question of, is the professional world out there going to take it seriously? But as we're progressing, and we spend obviously a lot of work now over the years on this, I'm also starting to wonder more like, well, how are we also different, and how much of that is something that we want to lean into? So I'm just curious to hear from both of you, there's been obviously an influence of traditional sports and the league systems and whatnot, and even just the vibe, on like the broadcast and how everything's translating, and so I'm curious to hear from you, are there any things where you feel like the pendulum could swing back toward, maybe there's things where we want to embrace how, the gaming community, or even just gaming in general and esports, is different than traditional sports? Are there any things that excite you about, I'd love to try or see X because I think it actually would be something that fits us more than the traditional sports models?
Yeah, I would say that in recent years, esports has really suffered from the damage that Arcane did to the legitimacy of video game media.
You didn't say who this was. You're just like, oh, I recognize his voice. And so I was Googling, who's Praeco? And so I missed the first 30 seconds because I was trying to be like, oh shit, it's Christian Link. I was like, you didn't give me a heads up of who I was listening to. I was like, wait a minute.
I know that's what I was hoping, was that you didn't realize who it was, because I still follow Praeco. I still follow your YouTube channel from 12 years ago, which you have not updated, where you used to just post the login screen music or whatever. Oh, yeah. And so I will never forget your actual handle because it shows up on my YouTube subs all the time whenever I'm looking. Yeah. Okay.
You didn't tell me to get him earlier. I put another caller before him.
No, that's why I told you now. You should. I did notice that. So I was like, we should probably
okay. It's good to fly under the radar. It's
yes. Yeah. Using his alt ID. No. Okay. So the question was really hey, for a long time, esports felt like it was pushing the direction of, we want to be taken as a more legitimate thing, looking at traditional sports, trying to model after all of that to try to gain some of that legitimacy. I think that a great answer to this question, Christian, is the TFT event that happened this past weekend, where for a long time, Riot, I felt looked at esports and said okay, we have to model this as a sports league, a sports tournament, find all these sports brands. And I think there's a lot of value in that. I like the LCS. I'm happy it exists. I don't want an open circuit system for the league, but I do think that I am excited that Riot was willing to do something that did feel a lot like the old IPLs. Going to that event in Vegas, for those that don't know, and I'll have some content up on my channel about this, Riot hosted a 512 person open bracket TFT event in Vegas over the last three days of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And during that event, it was just like really cool from a community perspective. You had a lot of stories pop up. It was limited to you basically they sold out of tickets before you got to like diamond players or whatever. Otherwise, I would have loved to compete. But it did feel a lot more like the Evos or the Melee events or the Magic the Gathering events that I go to that I love, and that sort of more organic, community-driven event, I think, was a huge success. And a lot of the people that I saw there, like Skara, Saint Vicious, etc., these kind of old school heads, were really excited to attend an event like that. And I do think that I agree with you that like the pendulum has swung a little too far in the direction of like we're super serious sports. And I don't know. I know the LCS is on weekdays, and you probably were writing Arcane Season 2 on the week, but this past year, I think the broadcast was already starting to push back away from traditional sports with a lot of the stuff that Mark did, like the Catching Up with Doublelift show where he's like pranking the players and sort of the game show stuff that does feel a little bit more authentic to the audience, does feel less buttoned up like Sports Center style stuff. And so I do think that like we are now correcting what was too big of a push in that direction. I don't know, Mark, if you want to chime in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've said, kind of similar stuff before about how I really liked the traditional sports inspirations that we took early on, especially when Twitch hadn't blown up yet. Like, there was the owned battle and the Twitch battle, and like there was nothing there yet. And I think it helped in the West, at least, even though there were the MLGs and those sorts of things, like the leveling up that came with Riot pumping a lot of money into it and using the traditional sports model, I think, or like inspirations again, to make it more palatable to a lot of people and like understand what this really is and introduce gaming as something that can be like that. And again, like there's a lot of other, I don't want to discount the entire history of esports before League, but I think it definitely helped with the live streaming, leveling those two things up at once and like just making the most of that technology. And then it kind of blew up. And then I don't know exactly when, but at some point, like Twitch and gaming and YouTube and all that kind of stuff just became so massive that it didn't really need that like mainstream approval anymore, I guess, or like it had already gotten it and then continued to be its own thing. And I think there's some learnings of like what kind of content do people connect with now on these platforms, because we're still on these platforms. So I think there's still some things that we do that made more sense if you were on a cable network, but like maybe it would make more sense on YouTube this way. And I think there's like some of those kinds of things. I wish I could, now that we're both at Riot, you can pick my brain not on a camera show, and we should schedule some time and I can tell you directly what we're thinking. But yeah, at least here I can't say what that is, but I think that's some of the stuff. And I think Travis also hit a good point about like bringing back more of the event feel and less of the show feel, if that makes sense. Like I like fans and people all mingling around the event and being able to talk to people and lowering the barriers between everyone, and not like it's a show that you're always watching. And of course, like, I think you can do that to Faker because he's too big. So you have to keep like that kind of feel, but maybe there's other like events where you can get that kind of more grassroots feel back.
I wandered around Worlds with Palafox, and he was completely cool. So last year, folks recall that stupid video. Christian, sorry, you were going to say something. I saw you on mute.
Oh no, I mean, I think it's interesting because I think over the years we've seen it sometimes, right? Like when like, I don't know, we try something radical at MSI or whatever, and it creates some different experiences, and like just, how can you kind of escape the marathon and create some cool experiences? But yeah, I mean, I think you also spoke to it, like the vibe, like the in quotation marks, how buttoned up things are. When I think back to, when the LCS started, and like obviously you had a lot more spiky personalities, and you just had these ragtag groups of just like dudes being like, let's make a team, and we'll see what happens. How do you inspire like people to really care about one team or the other in a world where more and more things are driven to be like investments, and players being investments, right? It's obviously it's the same thing in every sport, right? Like, if someone joins whatever NBA team, whatever, and he just gets transferred and it's like, does your heart beat for the team? Not sure, but you'll play for them, I guess. It's never easy. But I'm always curious to just think about like, what can we do? Like, what can we do to, I don't know, get closer to, like the polish doesn't always need to win, right? And then we want to get close to the personalities, to like that old character. I think sometimes I do miss it sometimes, and I'm just kind of curious, like when you think back to that time, like is there a way for us to inspire some of that again? Because a lot of it's also in the teams, right? What can the LCS do in that regard?
Yeah, I think that's like the vibe and the grassroots feel, and like a little bit of the scuff, but not like with the downsides of it. Like the fact that we all are all human. I feel like a lot of the people who came up during that time period remember all that stuff very well, and I don't know if people who get involved since like season 10 onwards have gotten that opportunity, partly due to COVID, but also partly due to like what you're talking about being buttoned up, that you don't always have that. Like back in the day, tailgates started. People might not know this. This is like the LCS lore, but it started because like I brought a grill to the parking lot, and they're like, we don't know if the fire marshal's okay with this. And I'm like, well, I started the fire and we're cooking hot dogs now. And like that was the kickoff. And then like the LCS just supported that and started like doing what they could. And we got the fire marshal approval later. And then people started bringing out CRTs and we play melee. And then we started doing that's what started the tailgates. And like I miss that kind of stuff where people just like the fans just decide to do something, and then we see it and we go, that's really fucking cool. Let's figure out how to like help them do that thing that they want to do anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Well, hey, I do think, Mark, that Christian, if you don't know, he has had a lot of creative success in recent years, and so perhaps you two, as you said earlier, could get lunch and talk about this type of stuff. It feels like he could be an asset for the LCS in this way.
I'm gonna go pull his calendar up. The next thing you know is there'll be a meeting in there.
I don't know if this is my forte here, but happy to chat.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, let me know if you're one of the people who like had a long year and is like heading into break, and like, no, don't do that. Or if you're like me and well, you're not like me because you've been there forever, but like I just started and I have a lot of energy. Some people don't. And I want to respect that.
No, it's all good. I mean, we're just we're in the never-ending production. So
yeah.
Break's always nice.
Well, hey, anything you want to shout out here, praeco, at the end?
Honestly, I'm just happy to see that this stuff is happening. For Mark, just get ready to get punched in the face on Reddit every week. That's gonna come with a job, I guess. But no, honestly, I think it's good. Look, I think we need to have an open dialogue as much as we can. So I think, if anything, I wrote it also in the chat. People were talking about the qualifications, and I just do believe that, it was the same thing with Arcane. It's like I didn't have any experience, but like you can hire experience, but you can't really find that easily. Is like the genuine care and the passion and like is your heart gonna beat for this? So I'm super excited about what's happening here. With Mark stepping in, because it's obvious. And so just good luck, man. Like it's cool this is happening.
I appreciate that a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much, Christian. Looking forward to November 2024, where I will be putting down Stormlight Archive 5 to watch every episode of Arcane, and then as the next episode, and then waiting for the next one to come out and picking up my book again. It's going to be a very good month for me. So looking forward to season 2. Thanks for the call.
Hope it won't disappoint. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Have a good
one. One thing that Christian said there that I do want to say, like, I hope I stressed, but I don't know if I did enough about like the hiring experience. Like, I don't think we need to hire experience, but there is a lot of experience around me where I get to say like, hey, what is this thing? How does that work? And people have answers, and I get those immediately. Like my desk, well, I float a little bit right now, but I'm floating around all these people who have been doing this for forever, and I ask a question and they're never like, you don't know that? Like that's never a response I get. It's just like, oh, do this, do that. And so, yeah, there's a ton of experience on like, in a sense, like a lot of this stuff happens regardless of what I do, and because there is just so much experience already. So yeah, I am not worried about that part at all.
Well, you have the endorsement of one of the 2 Arcane creators, so that seems pretty cool. You gotta go get Alex now.
I gotta get my Twitter bio updated.
Yeah. Endorsed by Christian Link. Huge shout out to CaptFlowers, by the way, for the raid. Sorry, we were busy talking to Christian, and so we were not able to.
4-time Emmy award-winning showrunner Christian Link.
Yeah, dude, it's funny because earlier today we were talking about, or in the show we were talking about the fun moments of Hotline League, and like that's the perfect example where Christian Link just trolling through Twitch sees the stream and is like, I'll call in.
Like I don't even know.
Have a philosophical conversation about creative elements in that. Yeah, I'm super glad I saw his name in chat. He was like, "How do I call in?" And it was like not flagged. He has like the default Twitch picture, and I'm like, "Is that Praeco?" Anyway,
I also love CaptFlowers saying he wants to come on the show, and let's dono wall him. That's the other great stuff about Hotline League is, if you want to, Flowers, you can put some time on my calendar. Just go ahead and
wait. It's my show, Flowers. If you want to come on, just join a channel on the Discord, and I will pull you in. Because now it's my show, and Mark is gone. Ha ha ha. Okay. CaptFlowers says, "Fuck you, boss." Okay. I love TGI sponsors. Thank you for the 10 gifted.
Should I wait to see if Flowers actually joins up?
No, just grab another person. We'll, if he comes in, we can get him afterwards. Husbest, thank you for the 29 months. Fergusai, thank you for the gifted sub. And again, CaptFlowers, thanks for the raid. Okay. Looks like we have our next caller here. It's Big Angry Hobo. Big Angry Hobo, welcome to the show. Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm calling from Akron, Ohio.
And what do you want to talk about on the show?
I wanted to talk about the fact that also big Mark fan, and I think that he's been he's going to be doing great. But I'm just wondering if it's a little too late for 2024 to start implementing a bunch of things early on. And kind of recently we've seen Freak hop into another position similar where he's leading the balance team, and he's gotten way more unwarranted hate that's not, I think, not appropriate. But we've just seen a lot of hate to the point where he's almost like fallen off of social media and everything. And I'm just afraid that stuff like that could start happening to Mark if people just don't like changes that are being made. And I'm wondering what you're doing to prepare for that, and if you are afraid of that happening.
Well, I don't want to put Mark in a position to talk too much about Freak stuff since it's like Freak's business, but I did really pull Mark because I think your take was basically like it's too late to save 2024, and I think like I would even hype up your question, make it even more specific, because I've seen this in Reddit threads and Twitter stuff, and like nobody is brave enough to put this in the subtopics or pleb topics chat, but I've seen some people say it's too late to save LCS. Like, yeah, Mark is coming in too late, viewership's been slipping, like it's already Jover, you know. They specifically use the word Jover. So I would kind of pose that I'd piggyback that Big Angry Hobo is like, is it too late for 2024? Is it too late for the LCS in general, Mark? How can you save this?
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, the fact that it's happening a little late does put extra constraints on solves that the teams can come up with and how we execute on some of this stuff. But I don't think there's anything that's not at least being chased down. Like I'm trying to word this with, you know, it's like I can't promise anything yet because it is definitely, you know, a little last minute. But I don't think there's anything that we're not going to get done. And even if it doesn't get done like for week 1 of spring immediately, it's not happening because of that. So I feel pretty confident. I have a lot of faith in the teams to get everything done. And like I said, some of this stuff was stuff that they were working on before I even showed up, you know, so it doesn't matter that I showed up because they would have been like working on some of these problems anyways. So it's I'm not too worried about it. I think, again, I can't say what's coming, but I feel good about it.
Mark, is it too late though?
No, it's not too late is what I'm saying. But
not just for 2024. I just mean for the LCS. Like, there's a lot of people who say the LCS is already dead. Like, are you coming in too late? Why is it not too late? Because obviously you think it's not because you're taking this job, unless you're doing it because you want to just ride out a cushy paycheck until this is all over.
That's me, man. You know me. I'm just in here for the bucks, the buckaroos. No, I don't believe it's over. I mean, I think if you want an example of it not being over for a league that looked like they were in trouble, LEC in 2017. I mean, this is the publicly available data from eSports charts, but they were at like 100K viewers in their summer 2017 split, I think, and they rebounded a couple years later to be at 300K. So, no, I don't think it's too late. I think we have a challenge ahead of us that we're all happy to take on to get the LCS into a healthier position. I think that Riot as a company very much believes in esports, as you know, Travis and I have talked about this before, where people are like, they're just going to fold the LCS, and you know, it's like, no, that won't happen. You know, they want esports to be a global event, and all regions need to be there to make it a global event. So it's not like just because you know, the LCS has struggled in recent years that they're going to like give up completely or anything like that. So yeah, I think that there's plenty of opportunities to get the LCS back on the right track, and I think we're going to do just that.
Are you able to speak on the whole switch to 8 teams, in your opinion, and how you're going to deal with that moving forward at all, or is that too future focused?
Yeah, it's too future focused, because that's basically schedule and format. You're asking me. You little rat! You try and get it out of me.
No. I guess I mean more of like how you're gonna hype up having like only 8 teams versus the 10, because I think 8 teams is actually. I was one of the people that think that's a good thing too. I was always pushing the go down to less teams because some of the teams weren't really doing anything, as we saw, and so I'm pretty happy for that. So hopefully it goes well.
I think there's a conversation to be had about the epic economic state in like esports winter or not, or what it all means, and I think there's obviously, as we've talked about on the show before, it's unfortunate that there's like less positions available for the competitors, the pros and the coaches and all these people who had, you know, opportunities that they thought they had for 2024 that kind of disappeared. And that definitely sucks. But I think everyone who's an industry insider-esque person has said that a contraction is probably good overall for the health of the league, you know, regardless of execution, what could have been done different or not. At least I think a lot of people feel like this is the right direction to be heading in for now.
So thank you so much, Big Angry Hobo, for the call, and thanks for the follow-up questions. It's funny to see Mark squirm. Anything that you want to shout out?
Well, shout out to Mark. I was a Team Curse fan all the way back in the day, so it's really cool how far to see you go from Curse now to the commissioner. And shout out to Conduit eSports, in a little amateur org that I like to, you know, partake with and help run.
Very good. Thank you so much for the call, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, dude. Flowers joined up.
Two more callers. All right. Thank you to... Well, no subs. Thank you to no one. Thank you to no one. League of Emily in the chat. I want to draw my life MarkZ. I want to be like, MarkZ started first living in an off closet. What?
He's in the waiting room, but he's not unmuting his microphone.
You're trying to talk to Flowers, and he's just not. Oh, he unmuted just now. Excuse me. Sorry, folks. Trying to mute my mic when I can, but sometimes. All right, we have CaptFlowers here. CaptFlowers, where are you calling from?
Your mom's house, bro.
All right. Well, that's a first on the show.
Dude, you've your mommed people in the last year, I'm pretty sure.
That's true, but I've never gotten a your mom's house, whatever I get the call. All right, CaptFlowers. First, I have a question for you. What was your reaction when you heard that Mark, this dude that you just hang out with and sometimes do content with, was going to become the head honcho at the LCS?
So I want to go ahead and be legitimately honest from my heart for a second here, because I don't normally do this. Most people know me as, oh yeah, that's the guy who likes beer and partying and Skarner. And that's not normally
also honest.
Contingent with honesty. That's like,
those are all things that
this
are
guy
true.
likes to fucking hang around and have a good time. I am so ecstatic from the deep down bottom of my heart that Mark is going to be the goddamn commissioner. Because so many times, I think one of the things that contributed to this esports winter bullshit is the fact that there's people making calls that shouldn't be making calls. And this dude is like a guy who's been endemic to this shit. Don't fucking scroll at this shit, Mark. Get the fuck back in here. I'm talking about you for to be off screen. Come here, Mark. Thank you. I appreciate you and respect you. Anyway, This dude has been in esports for 10 motherfucking years. He was a fucking goddamn data analyst on Curse. Everybody remember, this was back in the days when Moscow 5 invented counter jungling. This dude was data analyzing. Do you remember how old that is? Most of these motherfuckers in Twitch chat weren't born back then. He was analyzing. Then, what's he do? Oh my god, he becomes a Curse analyst into a Team Liquid coach. What the fuck? Then, oh my god, offline TV. Who the fuck is that? Guess who fucking built that shit? Guess who was behind that, making sure that that fucking archetype was constructed? Don't eyebrow at me. Look, if they get mad at me, I can say that. I don't give a fuck. Mark Zimmerman was there. And then you come back into Mark being a part of the broadcast all of these years? Dude, you could not find a better stat spread of the kind of shit that you need to look for in a guy who should be a part of making calls and getting shit done than this guy. I am so fucking happy for this. Like, I am so fucking happy for this. You better not fucking doubt me for a second, Travis. I will wrestle you.
I'd rather not. All right, so I appreciate the answer to the question. I think that's a fair one.
It's a pretty good one.
Did you have a take or a question for the show?
Yeah, I'm like, Mark. All right, Mark.
Okay.
I'm gonna come at you. I'm gonna come at you. You ready? I'm gonna come at you. Here's my hot take. I told this on my stream earlier tonight. I want to go live with the current patch.
That's an interesting decision.
Yeah. I told my chat if I was commissioner of LCS and I had carte blanche, which obviously commissioner doesn't. I know that. I'm not going to build up any uncertain expectations here. But if Riot gave me one choice to make, I would say the LCS should play on live patch no matter what. If the live patch happens, we play on it. With the exception of playoffs. Playoffs, the first live patch that updates during it, we stay on that one for the rest of playoffs. What do you think?
I think whatever decisions that the broadcast makes for the 2024 split, I'd be happy to comment on come January. Once we have things locked in place, we feel good about it, and that we are ready to share with fans.
Listen to this corpo shill. It
No,
took
dude,
7 days.
Dude, I literally gave him an absolute burn the house down take that if he would have made any solid take on one way or the other, would have been terrible. This is how I know he can actually be in a leadership position, because he's not me. He doesn't drink $13 Japanese beer from the corner store and then say some dumb shit on Twitch. This guy has a fucking goal. I like that. Mark Zimmerman for president, 2024.
Azael says, we've lost him, boys. Look at this fucking corporate slug.
Look at this corporate slug.
I'm a slug? Shit, I thought I'd at least be a rat.
No, bring Azael in. Bring Azael in. Let's get the TriCast. Where's
If he wants to join, be my
Azael,
guest.
you're welcome to join the Discord if you want.
Sorry for Rudy in the waiting room who's just watching all these. Like, Travis runs his show by allowing celebrities to skip the line.
Yeah, finally, I'm in charge of the calls. All right.
I played Cyberpunk during Worlds, and I picked the corpo rap background in training.
In preparation for this.
Yeah.
Wait, no, yeah. Emily's in here. Wait, where's Emily? Get Emily Rand. Wait, Rafa's in here? Wait,
whoever wants to come on the show can join.
We got so many people. No, but for real. I'll fuck off in a second. I just wanted to say I sincerely am so happy to see this. I could not have wanted 2 announcements more than these 2, that we're going back on weekends, and that we've got a dude who's been endemic to League of Legends esports for 10 years, been on the team side of things, been on the production side of things, been on the broadcast side of things, actually having a role of like real impact. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. I cannot wait to see what you achieve. And that's all I wanted to come on here and say. So I sincerely hope nothing but the best for you, because the best for you will be the best for all of us. And that's all I got to say.
Wait, Flowers. I think we might have other people coming in. So let's see if we can. How many people?
That was my heartfelt thing, Travis. Fuck you. I was going to leave.
I appreciate
this
it, but
no,
I want to see how many
say,
people we can squeeze in at once.
You say the heartfelt thing, you glaze someone up, but then you like run out of the room before you have to keep talking about it. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words, and I think it's been really nice to see everyone in the community have a positive reaction. It was definitely like,
yo, Flowers bootlicking his boss already. Hey, do I have mod? I'm gonna ban Fat Hog Cranker.
Why?
Hello.
Because he's fucking talking shit. He's timed out for 10 minutes. I didn't ban him. He's timed out for 10 minutes.
Has joined the channel. Azael,
get out of here,
what?
Fat Hog.
He was
Not
just
you, Isaac.
memeing.
Him.
He was memeing.
No, what you hit them guys for that. People think it's funny. That's part of the meme. Like, yo, Isaac, what's up, man? Good to
What's
see
up,
you.
dude?
Azael,
Hello.
how
up,
worried
boss?
are you
How's it
about
going?
the future of the dive now that you've lost the third most important
Yeah,
person?
now that
from
we've lost the third most popular member of the dive, we are pretty concerned about
Yo. What about
how
my
the
offer?
show will continue on. We're gonna need someone, with some Twitter followers, someone who does, a call-in show.
Yo, what about me,
that's
dude?
gonna fit it. Yeah, you want to come on? You want to do some analysis, some predictions?
No, only for the Skarner one. Only that one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah?
down for it.
Yeah, dude, come on, get me in there. Let's go.
We
Let's
have
do it.
Emily on the
Emily!
call.
Holy sh-
Emily,
Ladies and
how
gentlemen.
concerned? You've been in esports for a long time. How concerned should fans be that Mark is the new commissioner of the league?
I mean, I don't
Extremely.
think concern is the right word I would use.
Terrified.
I mean, if I have something to actually add, that's also maybe just going to be Mark praise. That's going to make him want to die. The amount of work that Mark has done this year in terms of looking at stuff
Sit up,
behind
Mark!
the scenes.
Sit up straight!
Yeah,
Sit
you
up
have
straight!
to listen. You wanted to buy the collar on, and all they did was praise
Oh,
me.
you're
and
right, you're
this
right.
is me getting you back because
I did do that to you.
died. I could not handle hearing praise, so now you have to take it.
Yeah, I did do it.
I can't stress enough to everyone about how much Mark has done behind the scenes in terms of looking at the way that broadcast content works, the way that people react to it, analyzing that, looking at the way YouTube works, studying the actual algorithm, giving presentations internally on all of this stuff, looking at formats, again, judging the reactions of stuff, looking at numbers, looking at stats. One thing I think that has been reiterated over and over during Mark's appointment announcement is how much he obviously cares about the LCS, how the LCS has been his life for so long. But I think the thing I would want to stress, and the thing I'd want to compliment and really praise Mark for, is his willingness to learn and listen to other people, and then also his actual dedication, how much fucking hard work he does, because I feel like his sometimes slacker persona doesn't really allow for people to see that. And it's there. And I love you, Mark. You're great. I'm going to miss having you on broadcast because you really helped me out a lot when I first started. And it meant a lot to me. So thank you.
Yeah,
I can tell that these guys are
appreciate
really gunning for a promotion. This is just not what
Isaac,
the
go fuck
reality is at
yourself,
all.
dude. You're just on this TFT shit now. You goddamn fucking. You're troller dogging me right now.
Respect. I mean,
You're,
respect.
no,
You
you're
guys are
troller
going for the
dogging me right
bag.
now. You are
I
troller
get
dogging
it,
me.
Get out of
no
here.
one wants to tell it like it is
Oh
anymore.
my god.
Mark
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your
Mark
thoughts?
shows up with his laptop. He's just playing Dark Souls.
Oh
in
no
the
no
office
no
all
no!
day.
This is the no. Isaac is playing some FFA strats.
barely
He's just
even
taking
woke
out the
up on
competition.
time,
No, my God, this is
just just fulfilling the contractual obligations to the letter. No more, no less.
This is
that
the
is
play.
the Mark
This is
I
the play.
know.
You let this guy play TFT, cast TFT World Championships one time, and he's immediately like, "Yo, that dude's an 8th. Beat his ass."
Mark already told me I've been let go, so I'm on leave.
Well, he's been like, yo, hey, CaptFlowers Incorporated is hiring. We're only gonna cast the 8th place games, and you have to be drunk every time.
Nice.
I'm in.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
I can fill some. I can open up some time in my schedule.
Isaac, how worried should I'll pose the same question. How worried should fans be that Mark is the new commissioner? You've worked with this man longer than anybody in this call, I think.
Oh, it's true. I mean, I don't know if I would say worried. I think it's more about just accepting the death of the league. It's time to come to terms with it. It's less of a concern and more of a certainty that it's all over. We had a few good years. We had some good times, and it's all downhill from here.
Rip LCS.
It's a shame, but
we're gonna ride it till she dies, boys.
I can probably get a couple more paychecks out of this, and then that'll be that.
This is the Titanic crew here. This is the band still playing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yo,
no.
I got.
I'm the guys who jumped off on the life raft. Like I
Yo,
stole the
dibs
life
on the
raft
tuba.
before
Dibs
the
on the
kids and the
tuba.
women could get on the life raft. That's why do you think I did TFP this last
Wait,
weekend?
you
I'm
were
already
I'm
fucking
fucking
swerving
swerving the kids and the
You're
women?
Billy,
Yeah.
You're Billy
yeah.
Jesus, this is how you got rank 1.
Yeah, I paddled away. You're Leo
I wonder-
DiCaprio. Mark is gonna push you down to get on the piece of wood
Yeah.
at the end.
I wonder
You're gonna
how
be the one
many.
who
Zane
drowns.
confirmed.
Oh my god.
Mark will be up in his ivory tower. You
Yo,
think he's gonna be going down with the ship?
Travis,
No, sir.
can I ban this guy? He's a 2-year subscriber, but he said hang up. Can I like time him out for 10 minutes?
No time
10
out.
minutes. Give me
No
10 minutes. Give me
He's
10
a
minutes.
2-year
Just
subscriber. Listen, it's esports winter.
10 minutes. Give me
Flowers.
10
I can't
minutes,
be losing.
man. It's a
any
BB
revenue.
gun. Give me 10 minutes, Travis. Give me 10 minutes.
All right, you
Give me
can
10
time 10 minutes. That's fine.
Give
All
me-
right.
I wonder how many of
Get
like
fucked.
the rioters
Come back when you're
have stuck
unfucked. That's 10
around.
minutes from now.
I wonder how many rioters have stuck around to this portion of the show to realize that letting this episode happen was a disaster.
Yeah, this is the last
Should not
time.
have done
Guys, I know
Much
we
like
said we would
hiring
have
Mark
Mark
as a
on again in the
commissioner.
future, but it's looking like it's unlikely. All right.
Flowers is too coward to shoot me with a BB gun. I'll
right, here-
see you in hell, Hoss.
Dude, Captain Flowers is unhinged right now. Do not
Yeah.
test him.
All right,
Get
here
out
we'll
now.
do this. We'll just to wind down the sort of little party that we've thrown here. Why don't you guys each give whatever short little advice of that you can give Mark, because I'm sure you all have opinions. I know you all have opinions.
Yeah.
All right, Travis, you're the
All I can
host. You have to say who
all I can
goes
say,
first.
Mark, just really doubt your instincts, because everything I've seen over the last couple of years, oof.
Do the opposite. Take my thought and do the opposite. Got it.
Find some people who think completely the opposite of you. Do what they say. see how long it
Oh
lasts.
my god.
Emily, what advice do you have for Mark on the way out here?
As someone who has worked for bigger companies than Riot and had to explain things to higher ups, good luck.
That's not even advice. That's just like
That's
it's
my
just you
advice.
cursing him. I feel like.
No, I've been there. Obviously, not in as a powerful position, but yeah, it's I have faith in you.
I don't think that is. I'll be the optimist and say I'm not worried about that. I think there's a lot of people at Riot who get it.
Oh boy, guys, we
I
lost
don't
him.
dis-
We
I
fucking lost
don't
him. It's
disagree
over.
with that. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough when like you need 100 people to sign off on one decision.
Yeah. Flowers.
I don't.
Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I don't think I'll be. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things where we're still working on things, but hopefully soon I can and we can share at least internally some of this stuff.
All right.
Am I up?
Flowers, what do you have for advice?
All
for
right, Mark. 2 things. This is a 2-step program. Fuck that 12-step bullshit. I don't care about that. This is 2 steps. First step, nut the fuck up. Nut up. Step 2, metaphors. Use a lot of them, especially stuff that's related to Lord of the Rings. If you say some shit related to Lord of the Rings, it will have so much more impact than if it didn't. Tell these guys that they are going to Mount Doom. Right now, you are marching against the end of man. Let them know. Let them make sure they understand the gravitas of where they are, and then let them understand that you are the Samwise to their Frodo. Guide them. Shelter them. Enable them.
Very good.
Allow them to prosper.
Thank you, Emily, Flowers, and Isaac.
I feel inspired.
I think
that's the point. Yeah.
You all have
on
done
the real
a lot.
On the real though, Mark's the GOAT. He told me very, very early on when he was actually applying for this position, and I've been excited about it ever since day one when we first started talking about it. He's got really good content ideas. I think he actually has all the tools he needs to succeed with this. So I'm super, super excited for the direction of the LCS. All right, bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you all.
See you all later.
I appreciate the kind words. Everyone's so sweet. Yeah, I definitely. It was funny during this process. That we talked about went on for a while. I was like not secretive or shy, telling people that like I'm gonna gun for this, and I'm gonna try and do this. Like we should try to do this, and this. So yeah, it's funny now.
Well, I know at least one person who was still watching, which is your boss, Carlos, because he tweeted, "If you're not watching Hotline League with Travis, you are missing Flowers, Emily, and Azael. Embarrassing. I mean, giving MarkZ the best pep talk ever." So only your boss, who you'll have to talk to.
All
tomorrow
right,
about all this.
only the guy directly above me. All right, so
Yes.
like when people are like, "Oh no, leadership," I'm like, "This is like my boss. Like he's chill." You know, like I'm not worried. I don't think fans should be worried. I think one thing that's happened that like I think it's fine to say, like there's a lot of newer people around the office, and not in like a newer to esports way, but just like it's sort of a different group. There was like I think the people who were here in season 3, 4, 5, you know, kind of people like the Hunters and Nick Allens, and like, you know, I think it's just like a different vibe this year than there might have been in recent years.
Yeah.
I say newer in a good way, not inexperienced, not like they don't know what they're doing, not like they haven't been at Riot before, but like at the office working with me and helping me out through things. And like we're all like aligned on what we want to do. So it's not like I'm going in there and like fighting people or anything like that. Like it's not, I don't want that to be like the idea that there's leadership and then me or anything like that. You know, like people are actually very much on the same page and helping me, and it's not bad. It's good. And that's one of the reasons I'm so confident that we can get all this done.
Well, we have one final caller who I think has a pretty good question on the back of all of those antics.
Okay, cool.
So off mark goes. Thank you to a bunch of people subbed. Bevoy Lover, Royal Pig, Doze Pyro, to Driz, Bowen. Thank you for the 1,000 bits. Lynch the Joker, Lit Drummer Boy, and Taco Bell. Thank you. All right, we've got Rudy here. Rudy, where are you calling from?
Calling from New Jersey.
From New Jersey. What do you want to talk about on the show?
So Mark said it at the beginning. Even though he's LCS commissioner, he'd be a more accurate title to describe him would be product league lead of the LCS. And even though the LCS is a competitive league, it is also an entertainment product. So is there anything that, from your experience working on the broadcast and the media and all the projects, that you're excited to see evolve and work on now that you're in a leadership position?
Can I say anything that is safe? Yeah, I mean it's an entertainment product for sure, but I think the most important thing is understanding like the people who are watching the entertainment product and what they want and who they are. And I mean, like the insights, as soon as I got in here, the insights, like Carlos was sharing a bunch of like the insight team's decks and all this stuff, and like you know, I think from interfacing with the community have an intuition about this stuff, but it's really cool to see the numbers like directly attached to it and understanding what they find in entertaining. Like people who are watching competitive League of Legends, a large number of them enjoy competition, and so you know, when I say like, oh, I'm going to make it like catching up with double ups, I think that would actually be terrible for the product if you like removed some level of seriousness from it and made it like a clown fiesta kind of thing, because people are watching to watch competitive League of Legends. And so like understanding why people are watching, their motivations, and enhancing those things and making those better for fans is really like more of the focus than like jumping the shark and making some quick interest, like, whoa, guess what, this is happening this week, kind of like thing that's not actually going to help long term. I think is kind of where we're headed. So I don't know, I hope that doesn't give anything away, but I don't think it does.
I think the other question that Rudy, I kind of pulled you for, which I think you tagged that in, but you also had written like what is Mark's availability going to be like on broadcast and content? Like, is catching up with Double If still happening? Like, how often is he going to do Hotline League? That type of stuff. I think that's like a fair question to ask. You know, Mark, everybody's so used to you on the broadcast. Like, where will people be able to see you now, if at all?
I would say like don't expect me on the broadcast. I think, you know, I'll be very comfortable if they ever ask me to be on there, and I'm sure they will at some points, you know, especially if whatever changes are happening and you want someone to speak on it. I'm happy to do it. But I intend to like be at the studio every day, basically. It's very funny because Ashley's schedule works out very nicely, where like I work now mostly 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, but then she works like weekends overnight, you know? And so like she's gonna be sleeping at home anyway. So I'll just go to the studio, you know, like, and I'll watch. So I'll still be around a lot and like staying close to the product and being in the studio as much as I can, and I'm sure I'll end up on things. And the other stuff is more like comms plans for 2024, which I don't want to share right now, as we are, like I said multiple times, still planning 2024 stuff, but like comms is a big part of that. And so it's not just going to be, I'm here now and I'll say a thing at the start of the season and goodbye and something like that. No, I think we know that people want a lot more communication. So we want to do that.
Yeah. Rudy, anything here at the end?
Yeah. So even though you said you're not going to be on the broadcast a lot, I think a lot of people, especially with the projects you've touched and the ideas you pitched last year, a lot of people like that. So like as LCS commissioners, is there anything that you're going to be doing to like making sure that vision and those themes that people enjoyed last year are going to be staying for 2024?
Like, are you smarter than and stuff like that? I assume
yeah, stuff like that. So we haven't talked about any specific idea. I think catching up with Doublelift is a hard one to ask anyone to do that, because like, who wants to do that really? It was like I really struggled with it too. Like that filming was uncomfortable, dude. Like the amount of times I wanted to just like apologize to a pro, like when I made Berserker spill his Red Bull on himself, like I felt, or like me and Daniel did that together, like I felt bad to just be like, nah, I guess we got to power through this shoot. Like there's a lot of that stuff, and I wouldn't force anyone to do that if they didn't want to. If someone does, I'm happy to pass the mantle. I've always said I don't care if people rip my content off. I was always waiting for like an EU blame game that just like never came around, and whoever wanted to do that would have had my blessing. I don't care. So if there's any products people want to continue, go ahead. I think something like "Are You Smarter Than" is very easy to slot someone into the host role, if anyone wants to do it. But these are the kinds of decisions that like are not going to be mine. As commissioner, I am not like tactically day to day supposed to be like like, hey, it'll be like I'm just like breathing down their necks. That's not what my role really is. And so the content team's full of people who are very competent at what they do, and they will make good content. And it's more about setting it up, the overall kind of system and stuff like that, and helping move things along. So I'm not worried about the LCS content. Some of my specific things, who knows if we keep them going, but with someone else doing them. Like obviously the dive is going to get a new host. I don't think catching up with Doublelift will stick around. Hotline League's probably going to get a new host. If Travis says he's going to continue it in 2024.
Yeah, we
for at least a little bit.
We'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah. And then Are You Smarter Than? It's like up to the content teams. I trust them. If they want to do it, or if they need any pointers from like when I was doing it, I'm also happy to share that. But like, I don't. It's an interesting balancing act of like, I used to work so closely with all you guys. Like, here are my thoughts, but also like, I'm not in that position anymore, so it doesn't matter what I think in some sense,
I think Emily said she wanted to host Catching Up with Doublelift, so that might be a thing.
Good, go for it.
Yeah.
She would be great.
Yeah. All right, Rudy, thank you so much for the call. Anything you want to shout
out? Good luck, MarkZ.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. See you guys.
All right. We're at the end. It's so sad. 6 years and 300 episodes of us doing this show. Like, I have not done anything in esports for half as long as I have done this. Esports, usually content comes and goes, and it's so fleeting. And so having you as a co-host has been really, really great, and as a friend. And I'm sad that our friendship must now end because of your new job. But it was a good run for the two of us as friends, and now you have to betray me and leave.
Yep. You either live long enough to see yourself become the villain, whatever that Batman quote is, I mean, the feeling's mutual, dude. This was also my longest running like anything I've ever done, maybe in my life. Holy fuck, that's weird. I think I started dating Ashley before you. I mean, before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, clip it. Fucking clip it, folks.
I just meant like college was 4 years, so the analyst desk I've done longer than this, I should say. I did do the analyst desk longer. Analyst desk is the longest thing I did. And then
yeah, we did. I think right when you started doing analyst desk, we did Late Night League with Yahoo, and then we did League Weekly with Kelsey and Emily, and then coming out of League Weekly, we started this in the end of 2017. So
yeah, we had done a couple other little things, but this is like the second longest running piece of work I've ever done.
Well, I think what I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, but like from time to time, I would be like, "How are you feeling, Mark, about the show?" You know, because you do the check it every couple of years, and we just both be like, "Yeah, it's super fun." There were some episodes that were slow, where like we're always at the behest of our callers, right? You get a couple callers who don't know what their take is, and they're like stumbling over it because they just didn't think about the fact they were going to get called or something, and it's rough. But then you have other times where the callers are just amazing, and it's been super fun. So yeah,
big agree. Even nights where like I just there's nights where we're not feeling it and you kind of just power through, but I think it's nice to also have someone that you can just afterwards be like, man, I just not feeling it that episode.
Yes,
I want to like, well, let's just go on a walk tomorrow and fucking talk about if we're still enjoying this or not, or like what's up with where our mental state is at. And plenty of times I'm late or you're late and we just heckle each other, or we're doing it from like random hotel rooms. I think the fact that we were both like fully bought in is what made it last so long.
And you've done, I assume, a decent job of distancing yourself from me internally at Riot, right? You've been already telling them about how you only did this for the money, and how annoying I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Travis is the worst. And
I just want you to be set up for
free.
success. So, and I know that's going to help you. So, all right. Well, I guess I should say, Hotline League will be next week, next Monday, and Cubby will be stepping into the role to co-host with me. It's very funny. I did not want to tell him that Mark was in the running for this and that I was giving him a trial run. So I just kept inviting him on the show a bunch for several episodes to see if he could do it and what the vibe was. And so there was a block of time where Cubby was on a ton, and that was basically me trying to vet him without being like, oh yeah, this could happen if Mark takes this job or whatever. So he says, I might have known. No, you didn't. Shut up. Anyway, so I think it's been really cool to have him do the show. We did an episode last week of not Hotline League, but of just some conversation with Chris on it. It was pretty fun. So he'll be doing that. I think for me, so Cubby will be on the show. I think the future of Hotline League right now is a little up in the air because I need to figure out what 2024 looks like, quite frankly. Esports winter has been cold, really cold in 2023, and so we're figuring out what 2024 looks like. So depending on sponsorships, depending on what I decide to do with content or maybe not content or whatever, I'm not trying to make anyone panicked or anything like that, but I also feel uncomfortable like positioning it as like, guys, we've got 6 more years of this show. So, but I like doing the show. I want to keep doing it. I'm excited to do the show with Cubby, and it's going to be really, really cool next week to have him step into that role, and we'll be looking for a guest as well. So hopefully we can grab somebody. But other than that, Mark, anything you want to shout out here at the end of the show?
No. I mean, I'm excited to watch Hotline League and be on the other side of this now a little bit. Whenever stuff starts coming out, teams are doing things, the games are started, the LCS is on again, I get to throw on Hotline League on a Monday night and watch people talk. Like, I think it's going to be very different to not be the one running my mouth all the time, and I'll get to enjoy the other side. I had this experience once before when I went from being a coach to a content creator and being like, oh, this is why they do that, and now I get to go to the other side again and be like, oh, this is how this feels. So it's really cool. And just shout out to all the fans who called in over the years and let us milk them for content. That's been really fun being able to, keep close with the fans, talk to them, and Travis for handling all the logistics. I think it's funny that this is a role now where I have to consider like all these things, and I'm actually fine with it. But it's been very nice for the past 6 years to just offload all of this to Travis and just invoice him whenever I feel like it.
Mark would show up usually 5 minutes late, hang out for 2 hours, start messaging me if we went over, being like, I gotta leave, we gotta wrap this up, I've got to go make dinner for Ashley or something, and then send me an invoice once every 6 months for $1 bajillion. But it was good. It was really good. So thank you. Best of luck for you. Best of luck for the LCS. I'm legitimately very excited about LCS with you leading it. So especially because you told me everything you were going to do. So I know exactly. I know every plan that you have.
Holding it over the fans.
Yeah. So, but I think there was one more thing, but I think that might be it. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Mark, for doing the show. It's been a pleasure. And Hotline League episode 300 is done.
All right, catch you all.